Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dawn World. If you haven't seen our last episode, make sure to check for episode 36. But we're going to get today's session started. So, last time, the party for several episodes, the party found themselves in a tunnel underground within the Great Mountains, making their way, hopefully, to Heartmount. They traversed the tunnels within and eventually came upon caverns within the mountains. And during the travels, they found themselves fighting the denizens that call the tunnels and caverns home. However, after 4 days of travel, the party arrived at the point at which the Vigon siblings recognized where they had first entered into the tunnels the night that they fled from their home. So the party exited the underground and made their way outside and found themselves in a clearing or a field of flowers with a big boulder in the center. And this was an area that was familiar to Dothra, as apparently the spot that she would go to be alone. Um, and the party decided that they were going to spend the night out there at the clearing, although underneath the trees to at least have some shelter. But they spent the night there right next to the exit of where they left the underground. And we pick up the next day as they are waking up and deciding what they want to do next and how they want to proceed. So I will switch the cameras over here. Ta-da! As my wife gets back to her seat after doing a few things before switching over. So we do have the cameras up, so we had to do a little bit of tweaking, yes, in our setup today. But we did get everything working. Hopefully it continues to work for the whole entire episode here, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so it is morning. You guys are getting around, going through your morning routines. Last time, also, Sybil had sent Festus to kind of do a scouting mission, I guess you could say, to see maybe what Heartmount looked like and to see what condition it was in. And the description that she got back was essentially that the buildings or the village itself had pretty much been repaired and didn't really look like it had been destroyed by fire or anything, like how the siblings had described their night of fleeing.
It's all a lie.
And they also, Festus also saw a Vigon that seemed to stick out from the rest, was a little bit bigger than the average Vigon that was seen walking through the streets, or what you guys are used to for Raylog and Dothra.
Like bigger, taller, or bigger?
Yes.
Bigger everything.
Both.
Yes.
He hit the Nautilus.
And he seemed to have a big pauldron on the one shoulder that looked like a lion's head, and there was a jewel that seemed to be in it as well on the front part of it. And he seemed to be mid-conversation with an orc that seemed to be well outfitted and had two blades on the back, and you guys said that sounded a little familiar as the orc that you have been seeing popping in and out at different parts through your journey as a party. So what the connection is there, you're not entirely sure, but that is the description that Festus has at this point and has given at this point.
Kimberly, you still there?
Yeah, she's still there.
Yeah, I'm here.
What was the name of the orc that you said last time that you
I
thought?
think his name was Gurge.
Yes, Gurge.
Gurge, not
Gurge.
Scourge, but Gurge.
And then
Yes,
I heard
Gurge.
Dirge.
Wrong movie.
Dirge, Scourge, Gurge.
Because if I'm to yell out and taunt him, I want to call him by his right name, or he'll like, "You talking to me?"
Anything else? He's definitely getting insulted. Instead of might be, definitely.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me continue with your monologue.
No, it's
If
it's
you're
up to
done?
you. Yep, I'm done.
So I'm leaving it up to Dothra and Raylog to,
It's
because this is their
your
territory,
stomping grounds.
and they know what towns are around. If you guys know the names of the towns around us that are within a walking distance of a day from your village,
Yeah, we do. Is it?
There is.
I'm sorry.
Find it here.
I'm like,
Within close proximity of Heartmount, and I say close proximity as in anywhere from a little less than a day to a little over a day travel. There are 3 villages that are close by.
Can you say the closest first?
Herdun.
Pardon you. What was that?
Herdun.
Purdue.
not his.
Herdun.
Okay.
The U would have specific accents or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So letters have accents.
Yes,
Okay. Not the
Got
people.
the umlaut?
Okay. And that's the closest.
that's the closest one. It's a
little
little less
short
than
of
a
a day.
day.
All right.
Yep.
22 hours. Okay.
No, I'm talking traveling day, like
Oh.
An 8
Brightness
hours.
is- Okay.
8 to 10 hour travel, like on foot.
Okay, but do we know how far away it is from our secret location?
Well, that's from Heartmount, so you
That's
guys are
correct.
like 15 to 20 minutes, give or take,
From
from
Heartmount.
Heartmount.
Oh, so it's pretty much literal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue, my friend.
The next one is Vrugzak, or Vrugzak. Sorry, I had to say the Z. Vrugzak. Vrugzakh. Vrugzak.
Sound like rude socks.
Yes.
Crude socks.
Crude socks. Rude, crude, and all the above socks. Yeah.
Holmes like, I can't
No matter how you
remember
pull
that.
I
them
just
up,
can't come
that's
up with
what it is.
names, and it's just like, I don't like the fact that I can't
Because
spell
I'm
these
a
names
player
right off the
now,
bat, so I'm
it's
just gonna
like-
make fun of them.
But then you gotta say it. Sorry.
He never bounces these
But
things
it
off
is
me
foreign,
before.
and it fits the bill for being foreign to us.
Yes.
You're definitely getting that.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I go for.
Yeah. Hey, you're nailing it. You're nailing it.
Where would
And
you
then
like to
the
go?
third one is Gillimore.
Which one?
Oh,
Gillimore.
the hardest one to
Gillimore.
pronounce and say.
Gillamor.
Gillimore. So rude socks is how far away?
That one's close to a day, like pretty precisely a day.
Oh, that one's roughly 24.
No,
Travel
it's about
day.
10 hours ish.
That's the full 10, not the 8 to 10. Okay. And the other one?
And the other one is Gillimore is the one that's a little bit past today. Like 2 to 4 hours past.
So 12 to 14. Okay. What are the races that are in these?
Herdun is mainly dwarven and human.
Okay.
And the other ones are Vigunian.
Throughout.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there might be some speckled things there, but I'm talking general populace.
Okay. Okay. Do they have specialties? Like
Herdun-
wares? That they...
Herdun is a mining village and produces the majority of ore that comes for at least this region of the Great Mountains. Not all of the Great Mountains, but this section or region of it.
Which town?
Herdun,
Oh, Herdu.
the one with the dwarves and the humans.
Okay, that's mining. Okay. They mine what?
Various different types of ore.
Oh, okay. Ore.
Yep.
So that's probably good for the boating industry.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay. What do we have for Vaken Saken?
Sack.
Those
I'm sorry.
they don't really specialize anything like Herdun does. They don't have like a specific thing. They have anything from hunting to the farming up here is a little bit different, but they do have ways to grow different types of plants and whatnot up here
Do they
in
do
the
like
mountains.
terraced on the side of the hills and stuff? So like Orientals, when they do the rice fields, they terrace them?
No, but
'Cause there's
they
not a
would
lot of
have.
flatland.
They would either do something on like top of a roof, or just specify a piece of land and then really just churn up the earth and try to do it that way.
Well, I'm thinking acreage. Because there's not a lot of acreage.
Well, we're also talking like a village that has like maybe 10 to 30 families max. Like you're not.
Okay,
you're
but
not
you're
dealing
just saying
with-
there's real estate around it that they can till. You're saying there is, okay.
Yeah.
Not
And it
just
could-
the idea of buildings.
And it
have
could be that
stuff
it's,
on
you
top.
know,
Okay.
not necessarily within the village proper. It could be, you know,
So
30-minute walk or
agriculture.
whatever.
They have agriculture.
Mhm.
What do they hunt?
There's different types of like goats and things like that are in the mountains. There's also small game, like when I think of small game, I'm thinking squirrels and whatnot, but that wouldn't be
have a
correct.
squirrel possum?
Not to say the squirrels wouldn't
Yeah.
be up here, but that's where my brain went to
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, maybe the flying stuff.
But there are
Yeah.
flying things too that they
Okay.
will also.
All right. So they don't grow. They don't raise them themselves. They live off.
They
the
do
land.
have livestock. There is livestock too.
Oh, okay.
But those are a little bit different than what they have in like Kings Harbor. Like when we think of livestock, like a cow, it wouldn't be like the short-haired, like what we typical
You
think.
mean like a yak?
Yeah, it would be more like a yak.
That talks back. Yeah.
Don't talk back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And Gilmore?
It's a variety, just like
Smorgasbord.
exactly.
Little bit of this, little bit of that.
Mhm.
But you're not going anywhere.
No.
You're stuck here.
So it's the same.
And then the one that you guys came through the first village that you came across, they were more known for smithing and doing
Armor for orcs.
armor and anything from shoes for like
Okay.
cattle
They're
and
an
horses
industry.
and things like that.
Industrial.
Yeah.
All right. But that was days away.
Yes, that was like 4
4
days
days.
of being in the
Okay.
in the underground.
And the name of that was?
Brunencore.
Spell, please.
Let me go back.
Put that in a
So
sentence.
I wrote it down.
So was the length of travel from that village,
B-R-Y.
would that have been the
B-R.
same whether we were in a tunnel or not in a tunnel?
It would have been a little less because you guys would have been
Okay.
going on roads, and you guys wouldn't have been winding and then also stopping and not stopping, but slowing down for trying to be quiet going through like caverns and things like that.
Okay.
You were a little bit more precautious going through the underground because after your first run in with something, and I was like, okay, we need to be careful and just make sure that we're not just getting ambushed, you know.
Yeah, I just didn't know if like the underground was fairly
Well, it'd be more
direct, and
direct.
then the other one.
Yeah,
was,
the outside would have been a little more
Windy.
direct. It would have cut off like a day out of your travels.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But you also risked the possibility of being seen either by other travelers or works going from village to village or what
Word
have
could
you.
get out.
And for
Right.
you guys being the chief's
Yeah.
heirs, more than likely you would have been recognized in some fashion.
Okay.
So, Marie didn't give you that spelling, did she?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, okay.
Brynankor?
Brynankor.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, Brynankor.
All right. Okay.
These other towns are sort of like circled it. You know, it's just they're a little different distance, but circled.
One or two of them are one's more off to, like if you were standing at the gate to exit Heartmount, it would be a little bit to the left, off to the left. The other one's more straight down the mountain, and then the other one is what you would have passed if you were coming the.
Okay, we went underneath.
Yeah, if you were coming the other way from Brynankor.
Okay, but they're all the direction from the entrance of Heartmount.
Yes. Yeah.
There's nothing behind Heartmount.
No, except for where you guys are, but you don't know that other than Festus flying over.
Okay, Festus would tell us. Oh, we know now. Okay.
Yeah, and you're not even directly behind it. You're more like south. I'm trying to rotate the map in my mind.
When Festus gets back, can he pen us out a map?
Yeah, I mean, I have a map for you guys, but I was waiting until you guys kind of got there to give it to
Well,
you.
Festus spilled the beans, so we're ready.
Grab it with his wing or grab it with his beak and
Yeah, beak. I
I was like, oh, again, right?
elephants do that and whatever.
Yes.
And he's a smart bird. He's not just a bird.
There you go.
One buggy. Yes, there's two.
Good. Can I have a new map? This one looks congested already.
Well, you see, there's this cliff, and people don't build
Well,
past the cliff.
do better.
This square is pretty square.
Yes.
Yes. it's
So,
a
like I
square
said, you wouldn't be
square.
directly behind. You guys are more
Oh no!
on the left-hand side where the name is. If you go down from there, and there's that cliff or that what's the word I'm looking for?
What's this?
Entrance?
Entrance?
No, there's
Bluff?
So from where?
so from where
Name of the
the
town.
name is.
Yeah.
If you go from where the name is all the way on the left-hand side at the top and go down, and then there's that first like ledge. That's the word I'm looking for. That ledge. If you kind of go northwest that direction, that's where you guys are.
We're over here off the
Yes.
candy
15
corner
to
from
20
the corner.
minutes that direction.
Just keep going northwest.
Like
I
that.
see.
And the mountain, the
Yeah,
mountain
look out
kind
that
of
path.
builds up.
Yeah, it's over there.
Here on the left-hand side of the map, the mountain kind of builds up a little bit and then ends up sloping back down, and then it ends up where you guys are. But there's a break there in the wall, similar to how you guys came from the underground. There's a slight crevice there that you guys can slip through, and that's how you get there. And there's a path that kind of winds around the outskirts of that ends up going to this field.
Although it can't be too much of a crevice. There's two bygones through it, and a bear and
It's all interpretation.
It's not quite as you
We clip through it when we go.
You guys are like octopus. You just pop out. You're like
Oh man, Sabine came out. Sorry.
Yeah. You're the formless, fearless warriors. You can go through cracks.
So
Okay.
I
But-
better not do that.
and you guys saw that large Vigon there in the center by that statue.
Oh, he's not the statue.
No.
He's by the statue.
But by that
Who is
statue.
the statue?
That
Why
is
is the statue?
are you asking me or are you asking the siblings?
All at once, probably.
Essentially it is the ancestor that would be for their line that
Those are direct.
initiated the peace, the first high chief, I guess you could say. That's a memorial that they put out for that ancestor.
Okay. Is that the main lodge
I'm
of
trying
the
to-
town at the top?
What's that?
That's the main lodge at the top?
That is the high chief's home.
So is that where Raylog used to live?
Yes.
Wait. The pointy one
Yes.
or the
Mhm.
boxy
No,
Yes,
one?
the one that
Pointy.
stands
The
out.
pointy one.
Yeah. Now the boxy
They both
one,
stand
is that like the constable place where all the military people hang out? The policing people?
Yes, that's more of the barracks.
Barracks.
Right.
Are there any other buildings that are different for a reason, or are they just different for aesthetic wise?
Aesthetic. And, there's variety, but I only have so many different types of
Icons.
stickers
Yeah, I
and
understand.
icons that I
Yeah.
can put in there that vary. So,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are the trees literal?
Did I get a picture of this map?
Yes, I will give you a picture here. I was getting
I was
ready to
gonna
grab.
take a picture.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I just wanted to get the labels on there first.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stickers for labels.
I'm just making sure it's accurate before I send it.
So I guess Kevin, you can write for your character, but home. Big building.
HOME. Home.
Sounds like E.T.
Home.
That'd be cool because you could ride a bicycle and fly.
Mountain biking.
If that's a preference.
And look, there's an eagle. Ha-ha!
I think his had a basket on the front. You can put a lot of stuff.
Does it go ding ding?
It had a bell. It sure did. And it had a little bike light.
Oh my goodness. I sent it to you, Kim.
In code.
Kim. Did you get it?
The picture has been sent, Kim.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I wanted to make sure it went through.
And the name for the ancestor that the monument is representing is Ulfric.
Wolfric?
Ulfric. ULF.
ULF.
GRIK.
G.
Ulfric.
Ulfric. Not Wolfric.
You said that's the statues.
Yes. That's
The ancestor
your
that the
Raylog's
statue's
ancestor.
He's not alive anymore.
You sure about that?
I'm not sure.
That
if
would have been
anything can.
alive
I mean, he's
around
not
the
breathing.
end
He
of.
needs a stone.
Would have been around at the end of the Great War. And I was gonna try to figure out how many greats I needed to say, like great. But I was like, no, I'll just say it was the ancestor that lived at this time and they can figure it out.
So he's the one who set up the system for the gem of the mountain there.
He was the first high chief and the one that
That's supported.
initiated the peace within the Great Mountains.
I'm going further than that.
The heart of the mountain didn't come until later,
Okay, so he didn't initiate that.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
but the heart of the mountain became a symbol of that leadership role
Him,
later.
okay. Whoever that was,
In blood.
that got that tradition going.
I mean, he was the first one that would have worn it.
But he didn't, because it didn't exist.
It did. I'm just saying when he initiated the peace, the heart
Yeah.
of the mountain wasn't a thing yet.
Where was
It
it?
was later.
It was later that it was found and
That's-
that it
that's where I was
became
going.
that symbol.
That's where I was going. He wasn't around for him to institute it as
He
a representation.
was around. He was the first one to don it. I'm just saying it wasn't because they found this thing and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we should have peace now, and this is my symbol to go with it.
No. I don't mean it caused it. So I was saying he has it on him in here, right?
Yes.
Okay, that was my initial
Yes.
thing.
Sorry, I misunderstood
Yes.
what you were
Yes.
asking.
It was dead.
Yes, he would have been the first one to wear it done.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
However you want to say it. Wear it. To use it.
Be bedecked by it.
Yes.
Do you feel bonita? Because you look bonita. I feel bonita. That's exactly where we're at right now.
Okay,
So the bird came back. We kind of got that information.
and he scratched out stuff.
Well, that is where I stopped describing what transpired. So I don't know if you guys want to just leave it at that, or if you want
There's
me to just
more.
describe kind of a live thing of what Festus is seeing. And I don't know how long you.
I
want
thought
me
you
to
gave us that
continue.
already.
I told you that what he sees, but I don't know how long you want me to continue to give you live.
You did really a summary of what.
Essentially, yes,
Okay.
of what he sees when he's flying over.
So we could play it like he's currently flying and.
Yes, he's
Okay.
still flying, but I don't know if you guys want to focus on something specific, or if you want to just talk amongst yourselves now and plan. Like that's that.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Oh, so Kimberly's relaying this wall.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I thought he. Alright.
No, it's a spy cam, and she has direct line to it.
Essentially.
Brown.
If you have a request, you could ask her to relay to him, and Festus
guess-
can relay to her and tell you.
What does he see going on? What's kind of the vibe of the town? Is it still a bunch of orcs and Vigons? And like what's
Okay, so you tell
and
asking Sybil.
who's that leader guy?
So as Festus continues to fly, he sees a mix of Vigons and orcs walking the streets. All of the orcs are armed.
Dwarves too.
No dwarves.
Okay.
Just Vigons and orcs.
Let me see.
All of the orcs are armed, and they're pretty well armed, at least more than what you guys are used to seeing. I mean, you're used to seeing them wearing leather straps or stuff like that, but these guys have more of like actual like metal plates on them and things like that. And they all have weapons. The Vigons, on the other hand, it's mixed between people with weapons, and then there's other ones that are outfitted with weapons and armor. That's what you see for like the general populace walking the streets. And what else did you want?
The leader. Describe the leader more.
The guy barking out orders
The
to the
orc
orc.
or the Vigon?
No, the one that has the Vigon.
Okay. Bald, with a red beard, wearing hide armor with the pauldron on, has a blade that is sheathed on the back, and he seems to be in a discussion with that orc. Seems by the what's the word I'm looking for?
Demeanor?
Yes, the demeanor of how he is talking and how the two of them are speaking to each other seems like it's a bit of a heated conversation. You can see fingers being pointed at, and it's not just like, oh, over there, or oh, like it's not
It's
a general.
personal.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
very
points.
like adamant and like you listen here type of attitude.
It's like talking to his brother.
Yeah,
Peasant.
yeah, essentially.
Go die.
Now see here.
And you can see that the orc isn't really much phased by it, but at the same time is just
Almost like it's common for that to happen.
no,
He's
just
putting up with it.
yeah, he's putting up with it.
Okay.
Because he
Yeah,
probably has
like
an
he's
age.
not off putting like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's
just
not.
like, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I deal with tough guys a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a tougher guy than you, but I'm like you.
Yeah. And
Oh, wow.
that conversation takes place, and it goes on for a few minutes.
Does he look like someone I know? The Vigon.
The description sounds familiar. It sounds like your uncle.
Uncle Louie.
Yeah. The bald head, the red hair,
The angry finger pointing.
having the
gesturing
scar
is-
on the one side of the head that I mentioned last time
That
that kind
continue
of
down the side.
comes from around the back of the head and just kind of comes around and then goes down along the cheek and then ends at the cheekbone. Different scars that are seen. A little bit on his arm. It's hard to see the arm, but you can see at least the one that is being pointed. You can see a little bit of the arm just because he has a chain-like shirt underneath the hide armor. So, but you can see a little bit of the arm. But you can see some scars on the arm. But just that description. And your uncle was always a little bit larger. Even for your father, he was a little bit taller than your father. And he always was a little bit bigger.
Brutus.
So that does sound familiar, at least to the siblings
so-
anyway.
With the people in the town, does it look like pretty much just warriors, or does it look like
No,
family
it's a
members?
mix.
Okay.
There's people that are wearing just everyday clothes of what you guys were accustomed
But
to.
they have weapons or
No,
not weapons?
no
Okay.
weapons.
There's
And
conflict.
then
Because
there's
you said there was people with weapons and people with
Yes.
weapons and arms.
all the orcs are armored and armed, and then the Vigons, there's a mix. There's some that are armed and armored, and then there's others that are not. I believe
they're just armed.
The townsfolk don't have any arms. I mean, they walk around like this.
I'm saying armed as in they have a weapon, like a.
But no
Uh,
armor, so there's somewhat.
No.
They do have armor.
If they have weapons,
Okay.
they are armored.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I misunderstood what you said.
Yeah, I got what you were saying.
Let me
too.
It's
see.
the altitude.
I thought I heard a third.
Oh, okay.
It's,
It's been a while.
yeah, we're not climbing.
The way I
towers
have
yet.
it written here, some of the Vigons are armored up, and have weapons, while the others look like regular village folk. However, all the orcs are armored and have weapons.
So with the village folk, who does that include? Is it just like say guys who are smithing weapons and like providing food, or is it like all family members?
It's a mix. It's not just one specific of like the village folk all look like females. It's mixed. Predominantly the ones without weapons are more abundant than the ones with weapons.
Okay. And it's not like any job in particular. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So there's no meeting.
Alrighty. Yeah, the ones that are the general village folk look more look more abundant than the ones that are armored and have weapons. But then you also have orcs that are there too. So. But that conversation between the one Vigon and the orc goes on for a few minutes, and then the orc kind of walks off, and then the Vigon makes his way up through the streets, zigzagging a little bit, talking to a few Vigons. some of them townsfolk or look like ordinary village folk, and other ones that are armored. Um, and then eventually making the way up to the different house, or the one that's at the far end, the High Chief home.
So, is there anything we can kind of glean from what's going on in the town? Like, can we glean an objective that they're trying to do or complete? Are they preparing for something in particular?
The only thing that seems a little bit like something is taking place is after a conversation with one of the other armed Vigons, that one kind of went around and seemed like he was grabbing up a few other ones and
So
grabbing it.
they walk with him?
No, they are not going with him, but it seems like he's going and
Informing.
grabbing a group for something.
Delegating.
Okay.
Or delegating.
So, and are there any people from other villages or something coming in?
No, there's no traffic in and out.
Okay. So it's not like there's people coordinating with other towns, I guess.
Doesn't seem that way.
Okay. Were there any other familiar faces, possibly?
Festus didn't recognize any of them.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, Festus isn't really gonna. I mean,
Is there someone? Is there someone else maybe I could describe? Like maybe the few loyal people on this list that I could maybe describe and you could look for.
Yeah, if they have scars on their faces or something.
I mean, you could try to give a general description of them, of a certain individual, and be like, "Hey, can you go over to this part of the village and see if there's anybody out there or anybody around the house or the home? This is
Right.
kind of what they would look like."
Yeah.
And you could do that.
Okay. So how about the Braun, the healer, and Falgar, the smith?
Okay. Yes. They would. Festus going to for Fulgar. That one is the home that's kind of like right there by the barracks. That's on the same
Side of the road.
level.
Yeah.
That's his home, and Festus would see him out there just working at the forge and whatnot, just going through the day-to-day things of making whatever orders that he might have at that time.
Okay.
The healer Braun is near the bottom left of the picture that you have. Kind of, there's the two rooftops there that are kind of cut off, and then there's that first one there, the full house
More
there,
full.
that's up on the ledge.
Yeah, the third one.
The not all the way up, but the first.
Yeah, the third one
ledge.
right here.
Yeah, down here.
Yeah, that's what I
Well,
thought
the
you were
third one on,
yeah.
on the bottom.
That would be his home. Whenever he flies over, he can see that there's like lights and stuff going like on in the home, and that there's like remnants of people walking around in there, but he doesn't see anybody outside. And who was you said Braun and the healer and the smith?
Yeah.
Okay.
So would you gauge in your mind if that's someone who you might want to communicate with the stone?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, I was going to get to the point where I was as
One.
Kevin thinking about how I play the character. Yes, that's what I was
Inquiry minds one of it.
Inquiring minds.
Okay. I mean, it's just nice in general to see that there's
They
That-
might give
that
you
I
an
can
inside scoop.
recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of getting everybody together, kind of thinking, Well, I mean, we still don't truly know what all's going on. I mean, it's been what, a year, right? Or is it
Not
several
quite a
months?
year.
It's been like 3 months.
Since you guys fled your home, it's been over 6 months.
Oh, has it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
It had been months. Yeah, it had been months before they found you
Okay.
guys.
I just know how long we've been hanging out.
Yeah.
We've been hanging
It was months.
doing much.
They fled months before you guys, because they had to get there. They had to get all the way over to Morningdale from the Great Mountains.
Well, I thought maybe they jumped on a bird.
No. No, they had to make their way over that direction. And they didn't have somebody to
The birds are always the
pop
answer.
them in at the Living Tree Forest. So
Always the answer, right?
Yeah, let's tree walk.
So,
Just drive.
Raylog would kind of get everybody together and kind of say, well, I'm kind of thinking, so it seems like my uncle's the leader, and I'm not quite sure why he's working with orcs. I do understand that he didn't have the greatest relationship with my father, and I think, from what I understand, like he wanted to be the leader and to not have this peace that we were having. I don't truly know what his entire objective is. I think it might be good to contact some people that I know were very loyal to my father and see if they can relay some information about what's going on, and maybe if they aren't able to give us a lot of information, or maybe like help us understand maybe what a good strategy would be and how to kind of deal with the overall conflict that's been going on. Maybe they can point us to someone who might be good to speak with.
Could your uncle be up to good, or is he up to bad?
Well, when I grew up, we didn't have orcs in our town, so I couldn't really imagine that he's up to something good. Or, I mean, it's possible he is, and he's just being forced into. I mean, I don't know. That's why we need to.
He's a man of strength. So could
Right.
he
So
forced?
I kind of don't think so, but again, I don't know.
You're
You wanna
looking
wait
for
until-
confirmation.
You want to wait till there's proof in the
Yeah,
pudding.
I want to understand what's going on before I just go in and make everything harder.
Especially if he goes in
Or-
and
Yeah,
falls
you-
over.
Because
Right.
I don't know what's really
We
going
kind of
on.
ran into something almost not identical, but similar to with Kara's family.
Dothra would also mention.
No,
Do you think that
It's evil day.
Festus could possibly look for Durik, see if he's alive? And she gives a brief description of what he looks like.
Mhm. That's fine.
Durik was probably our father's closest friend, at least, outside of any leaders of any of the other villages. But for a home here, that was probably father's closest friend. Do you think there's any way that he could look into that? This is towards you, Kim. You there, Kim?
I mean, if you give me a description, I could try and pass it along, but no promises.
Okay, I'm just asking that if he could try to see
Yeah,
if there's anything.
absolutely.
Okay. The butcher's home is basically this house right here that's cut off on the edge.
A lot of cough.
Which edge?
And whenever Festus goes over to that area, he does see an individual coming out of the home that matches the description of what Dothra describes.
Maybe
That's
tell me
the
what
one on this
you're
path.
talking about?
Right here.
Are those two little trees?
Okay, yeah, the one up on the front.
Ooh.
I'm like,
That's
there's
it.
lots of cut off houses on the edge.
It's the, for your reference, Kim, it's the final,
a corner cliff.
it's the one right there on the left-hand side of the page. If you go to right where the ledge is, and there's that one building that's kind of cut off,
On top of the ledge, directly.
it's that one.
With 2 little pine trees next to it.
Yeah, with 2 pine trees next to it.
And a little bush.
And it has kind of
Little
like the,
hedgerow.
you can see the wings kind of on the front of it. On the roof.
I sent her a confirmation.
So all the houses wings are fine.
So that's the butcher's home.
We just need to find the baker and the candlestick maker.
You,
To be liberated.
there is a baker on that list.
And I guess the one that's unlabeled.
Sure, we'll do the unlabeled one as the candlestick maker. There we go.
The baker, the candlestick maker.
Huzzah! He's the general store guy.
Sure, yeah. How do you spell huzzah?
Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Is that Mongolian?
It sounds ethnic.
All right.
Add an umlaut.
So there's another one on the list that you can also mark.
All right.
Let's
As being present.
All right. So would there so asking the
I see
DM,
that hand.
would there be, I guess, like, so when I speak to them with the sending stone, is there a good way that Raylog can convey that he is who he is and like kind of prove himself?
Like an inside scoop of knowledge.
Yeah,
I know you have an
like,
ingrown toe on your 5th toe.
like just so it's not just some random guy
Six
claiming
times.
that they're Raylog or something. Like how can I guess convey that I'm actually who I am and
You
not
see
dead
how I got these scars?
when I go to speak to them.
I have fallen down many times and passed out.
I mean, it would, first of all, it would sound like you.
Okay.
Because it is your
Recollection.
mind speaking to their mind. So it is their mind interpreting what you're saying, which they've heard you before. So it would sound like you.
It isn't just a teletype.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just like robotic sounding.
Sure. But
I mean,
if someone claims they're Raylog, would they then sound like Raylog?
No.
No, but this
If they-
interprets your voice to sound like the way you did sound.
Correct.
That's what it's
Okay.
Unless someone's trying to be ventriloquist or whatever. Someone tries to trick people. You never know. But I know what you're trying to say
Like, I
too.
don't know.
It'd be essentially like what we hear on like cell phones and whatnot, essentially, but it would be in the mind.
Right.
But it'd be nice to bring back a memory.
Yes, but that was the next thing is like you
Yeah.
could bring up a memory
Yeah.
or something specific about your dad or
They don't know. Also. Right.
yeah. I mean,
And do you have anything in mind for those
You could make one
things?
up. You could just say, we used to prank you and I used to tie your shoelaces together when you were working. You stood up and fell.
Okay.
That was me. Then he said, jerk, I don't want to talk to you, and then hang up.
go for it.
So, yeah.
I'll play
Yeah.
off of it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
We'll give you a minute.
I never get a minute whenever I have to come up with it.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
wow.
You're the referee, okay? We can hang you. It's fine.
Out to dry.
Yep.
There you go.
Mm.
Been there, done that. I know how ad-libbing.
It's fun. Isn't it?
Sometimes it's the best moments, and then sometimes it's the awkward moments.
Mm.
So.
The worst one for me is not always like if I'm asked a question and I don't know the answer to it or I haven't prepared an answer for it, but rather when I'm mid-sentence and I know what I'm trying to convey, but I can't think of the word to say. It's like, what is the word I'm looking
That
for?
line.
Yeah. That's the worst. It's just like, I feel like such an idiot right now.
That's why you married someone who's used to filling in the blanks.
Man, like I never struggle with that
Yeah.
when I'm just talking to somebody,
Yeah.
but like it's always whenever I get in front of people or whatever, it's just like, I'm gonna just get like this roadblock blank.
That's right. We think about that now. Too. We say that. At least now.
Every time I think of you, that's what I think
Yeah,
of.
that's what I think. It's good. Now you know.
That imbecile.
All right, so Raylog was. I mean, there's charges still on the stone, right? That,
We will just do
empty.
another charge. Yeah, there's 5 charges.
Yeah, so Raylog would like to try Durek, since he had a better relationship with my father compared to some of the other ones. At least do him first. And so I guess we'll take the stone and it'll say, "Hello, Durek, this is Raylog. Remember me? I used to come over with my father and my sister, and my father would come and chat with you, and you'd give us some bacon, and yeah, got to hang out with your kids and everything. I'm wondering, I mean, I'm still alive. I'd had to do some go through some healing because I was injured. I guess, are you able to describe what the current situation is at Heartmount and what's going on? Why are there orcs there and all that sort of thing?
Raylog, is that really you, my boy?
Yeah.
It's been so, and you can hear, like, to kind of describe how this individual sounds, because I can't do this voice very well. It's deeper, but it's more of like on the older side sounding, almost like he's what we would consider probably 70 or 80. But you know, Raylog and Dothra, that he's not that old, but that's how he sounds at this point. He didn't used to sound that way. He used to sound his age, but now he sounds older for some reason. I'm glad to hear that you're alive. I would ask where you are, but I guess that's not really important. As long as you're not home. Why are you asking about home? I mean, I'm still here. There's not as many as there used to be.
Right. I've heard that there's been a change in the peace, and there's been more conflict at home and surrounding villages. I guess trying to understand what that is and why that is, and I guess maybe see if something can be done about it.
You're not wrong about the peace having changed. Everyone's gearing up for war. The peace that your father was so adamant about keeping is all but gone. Your uncle saw to that.
What did he do?
He set all of the villages into almost what it used to be, only it's not all villages against each other. It's everyone grouping up and assembling for something. I don't know what.
So they're unified, but they're going to oppose something other than themselves, I guess. Is what you're saying.
That's what I can discern from it. I'm not exactly on the best of terms with your uncle, as you can imagine.
Right. Is this all his doing? Is he getting?
No, he didn't do it
influence from
alone.
something?
This is all just so sudden, and I'm not even sure how you're doing this.
That was my question. Why are you in my head? The pressure's too much.
I can yeah, this is. I don't understand how you're even talking to me. You're obviously not here.
No, I'm not here with you. No. I'm using some friends.
We're getting into a second charge at this point, by the way.
You're gonna roll a system shock, see if he has a heart attack. Fail.
So, since I've fled town during the attack of our town, I've met some friends.
Heroes.
And they have abilities from the Creator, and this is a specific ability that they've been given this rock that allows them to communicate in the mind with other people that they know. Whomever's using the rock. That's about the best I can describe it. I'm not,
Okay.
So you've
I'm not,
become a
like-
user, have you?
Okay. Well, it's good to hear from you, regardless. Even if this is just in my head.
I'm losing it. The pressures. I'm hearing voices now. It's my own conjuring.
So, yes. How are you? How have you been? Is your sister still alive?
Yes, Dothra's still alive. She's with me right now. We've been through our ups and downs. Mostly we've been trying to find help to come back to town and try and repair it and everything. But it sounds like if you're there, like it's in a better condition than left.
Yes. I mean, we've done a lot of rebuilding since that night. Although a lot has changed as well. Orcs being on the streets. Those that we used to consider friends. Not being so friendly anymore. And kind of turning their backs on you. So yeah. It's a little bit different. But we're making do.
So is most everyone in the village kind of for this conflict, or is there?
There's some that are indifferent, and they're just kind of whoever's in charge are kind of going with whatever. There's some that were very happy with the change, and there's those of us that are still loyal to your father and still agree with what he was trying to promote and trying to do.
Do you know how many there are that still agree with my father?
Those that are still alive, there'd be a total of, including myself, 7.
Okay. And their family, I guess.
Mm-hmm. We're into a third charge at this point.
Are any of those kids?
Some of them, one of them, the one that I didn't have the specified role or whatever he did, he would have been someone who was a few years older than Raylog and Dothra.
Okay.
Not like
Adolescent. They're old enough to carry.
yeah, like he would have been a few years
Yeah.
older than you guys, but it wouldn't have been like
Old enough
Durek's
to be,
age or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. He's
Old
still in his
enough to be
prime.
my-
But he was raised in a household that was very loyal to your guys' father.
Mhm. Are you able to? Is there, I guess, any way that you're aware of that might help with resolving this conflict, or maybe someone I can speak to that might any thoughts on how to resolve this conflict and bring things back to the peace? I mean, do people just want a different leader and they're fed up with this? I mean, it kind of sounds like from what you're saying that
It
there's
seems
a
like
bit of
those of us
both.
that don't agree with how your uncle is running things seem to be in the minority. The only way to change any of this would be to remove him from the equation in some way. Either force him to submit or do what he did.
Now we're talking. No.
Yeah. So would he? Would if we were to do that, would there still be? Would that kind of just end everything, or would there also kind of be still a lot of people?
Boy,
that
you're
would
the only you. Besides your uncle, you and your sister are the only surviving heirs to the lion line, so there wouldn't really be much of a choice.
Okay. But what about you have? I guess like you have orcs in town as well. Would they pose a problem as well, or would they kind of go along with it? That's not something we really had in our village before. It's definitely really
No,
strange.
the orcs are something that came after the attack. I'm not sure how long you're able to continue talking like this, but that's a conversation that would require more time.
Okay.
Civil as a stone too.
This is gonna be like.
Yeah, I understand.
He also thinks that you guys are not close by either.
Well, so you guys are not real.
Right.
So, for all he knows, you guys are like
Yeah, because he
on the
made it
other
sound
side of
like,
the continent.
I hope you're not here when he first started talking.
Yeah, he's like,
So,
I'm assuming that you're not here.
Yeah. And that's good to a degree. Because if he knows you're close by, it's like if he gets captured or would have questioned, at least he won't say, well, they're at the gate, they're going to get you. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
my voices are far away.
Well,
But yet so close.
okay. I appreciate the information. I will have to, I guess, think about some options. Maybe reach out to some other people and see if, I guess, what could possibly be done about this, because this conflict definitely is not something that should be going on.
Sorry, correction for the line name that I mentioned earlier for your family line. It's known as the Lionheart line, even
Okay.
though your last name is not that. But that your family crest or sigil has always been that of a lion's head, but your family was referred to having like a lion heart, so to speak. So,
Okay.
it became known as the Lionheart line. Anyway.
Yeah, so we'll kind of basically thank him and say we'll be in touch. We'll have to do some thinking and working some things out. And seek some more advice.
Okay.
Is
Well, it was-
she spitting someone?
She's not. I don't know. Maybe she's spitting at her phone. I don't know.
Raylog,
She's
Oh,
talking.
What's up?
hey, ask him if he knows about the dwarves and their hairy condition.
The dwarves in their hairy condition.
As opposed to the other condition?
Yeah.
Raylog hangs up.
Raylog hung up.
No!
Yeah!
Hear the sound of a rock
Here, you have another one. Try more.
There's still 2 charges left on that one,
One's for
which is
ginger.
2 minutes worth.
Don't use it all.
So that's all that was in my mind.
Mhm.
Raylog will spend a little time and he'll kind of convey the conversation with everybody in the party, and I guess
You'll disseminate information.
Send
see
it out.
if anybody has any opinions. Should I try and contact someone else? I kind of feel like if I do, I may not really get any more information.
Maybe from a different point of view.
I had an opinion and you ignored it, so I'm done here.
I know that feeling.
She wants to know if any beasties ran around during the battle. The hairy
Only
dwarves.
thing she's interested in.
We killed some beastie people
I
and
thought
turned
she
into
was-
dwarves at the bottom of the hill earlier.
I thought she was asking
No.
like why the dwarves have hair on them.
No,
I'm like,
she was referring
so I
to
was
the,
like,
the Brutum Morbus that you guys
Oh.
fought in the Living Tree Forest at the Western.
Yeah.
see, if I understood that, I would have asked.
She
That.
thought there was
I
an
thought-
inside scoop. You
I
would
thought she was
understand
being silly and asking some
No.
silly question. Okay.
Why do the dwarves have hair?
Yeah.
Because they do! Except for my uncle who's bald, but we don't talk
Yeah,
about
I think
that.
that's becoming.
He's not a dwarf,
Okay.
he's a Vicon.
But that's what,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
she's trying to
that's
do an
right.
inside scoop that we already had
Dwarves,
knowledge.
Tomato,
We want to know
tomato.
about if they were also
It's
engaged
like an
on
oxymoron.
the top of the hill. We've had to mess with people that are creatures, dwarven hairy
Giant dwarf. Pretty sure that's an oxymoron.
Not in fantasy.
Because if you're a dwarf, that means you're small.
No, if you are
Giant
a
midget.
A
twiglet.
giant midget. There you go. Anyway.
So now you have an option. You can use one more charge, say, oh, by the way, or you can just. You might have knowledge of beastie, dwarvy people, or not. It's his interpretation.
It is.
He was there during the battle, and he didn't have his head conked.
I don't think that's gonna help us solve anything.
What it does is helps you size up the foe if we run into it. Because there are certain characteristics that they
in
have.
the village.
Well, you don't know until they change.
Okay.
That's the
That's
thing.
true.
She doesn't always look beastie, does she? There's different levels of beastie. Yes, I understand.
Raylog's like, there are
Yeah,
times
yeah,
in the day when
yeah.
my eyes are not open.
So she has an inside scoop how to handle beastie people.
That's what he talking about. It's
I mean-
up to you.
Yeah, you step out of the crevice there and go
The
to
guy
spot.
who's known for
Let's
passing
spend a
out.
little time and figure out maybe a plan,
Eight.
and then we can
That's fine. I'm just saying that's what she has.
do that if we need that.
Okay.
All right, what's the next step then?
Forward.
Well,
You could ask your sister too. He's just chomping at the bit over
does
there.
anyone else have any thoughts on this situation after I convey the
What
conversation?
direction are we from the town map?
We're northwest.
West.
Northwest, looking at
Like
the map.
the spot I drew on
We're upper left hand. above
Yes.
the-
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
with the arrow.
we're above the wording Heartmount.
Would we be looking over it or on the same height?
You are actually a little bit lower than it right now.
We just came out of a lava tube.
There they are.
That would have been exciting. Like a spitwater.
I'm
Come out with
gonna
straw.
just go to the big house, since that's where all the important people are. It's actually close, like we're not going through the whole village. And we could get a hold of all of your friends and tell them to be there.
But that's where his uncle is living.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
Well, okay, that might be an early confrontation.
Yeah, that's the point.
Oh, you want to go not just to the heart of the mountain or Heartmount, you want to go to the heart of the possibility of the problem.
Yeah, I think that was my plan. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I agree that he needs to be dealt with, but I guess the dilemma is it's not just concentrated in this village. Like there's conflict kind of all throughout that also needs to be dealt with.
Agreed.
And along with the orcs and everything being in the village, like they don't belong there. They shouldn't be there at all.
I think what she's saying is if you cut the head off, then the rest would follow you, and then everyone would follow you to get rid of the orcs.
I mean, I'd like to be optimistic and think that, but I don't know. We don't know how far people are, or people are being controlled. Or
You just,
anything either.
the other guy, if you, assuming that you shared most of the information, said they were just following whoever's in charge. So if
Right.
they become in charge, they'll do whatever you say, because they're, sheep.
But
So,
Big sheep. Big
but
sheep.
how are we going to get that info to the other villages?
Oh, word will
Carrier
spread.
pigeon.
Yeah.
Word's gonna spread.
Yeah, you start
Okay.
from where you are in the nucleus, then.
All right.
we do have a carrier.
And most of the fighting, whatever, people gravitated to here,
From what we know.
because that's why you have the Vigon guards. They're concentrated here. This is their staging area. Your people.
Mhm.
So the whole idea, the one who's going around with the special gem that everyone follows is in charge. So you retrieve it, then you're in charge, then they will follow.
Or we can wait until he goes to sleep at night, creep into his house, and just take it and walk away. And then you could show up the next morning wearing it. You're like, oh, I'm the king, I have the crown.
Yeah, we could put him asleep, a double sleep, so he wouldn't wake up.
Sleep.
Yeah,
Like a double sealed cup.
We could do that.
Yeah.
If you're more into that idea.
yeah, and duct tape him to
I'm
his
just
bed.
saying something else to change.
Well, I do know I'm not very sneaky. Plus, right now it's daytime.
Well, it wouldn't be you anyway.
Daytime, nighttime.
It wouldn't have to be you.
Like,
I'm also not very sneaky, to be fair.
That's about right.
then there are some of us who are sneaky, but loud.
Clerical knights.
I mean, it's right up there with Arabian Nights.
Arabian.
Without the songs.
So do you?
Sounds like pain.
So do we kind of think that just us can deal with my uncle, or do you think that we need other people who supported my father and are loyal to him to also be a part of the confrontation?
So you want an uprising with a lot of blood?
I mean,
Not
few
about
witnesses isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I also don't want to get anyone hurt if they don't have to be. So,
The more direct the confrontation, the less people have to spill blood.
Okay.
Unless there's certain people you didn't like in your village, you'd like to see them go down too. I mean, spill your guts. We want to hear this.
wow, Torvine, dark.
It's getting dark up here.
It's not even noon yet.
Got a polar sun going on.
Well, you're higher up, closer to it.
You're standing in my shadow.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
your
There's
shadow.
also, it seemed like there was also information that is missing too, that the butcher didn't convey yet, just because it was a lengthy conversation. So it also seemed like there was also, yeah. So it also looks like there's information that you guys don't have yet. So that might shed some light a little bit on stuff.
Right.
Too.
That's true.
And you also don't know how many people that are loyal to your dad or your father are in the village. You've confirmed a total of 4 so far. There's a total of 7 that Durik said were alive, but that doesn't mean that they're in the village.
That's interesting. Okay.
I'm just saying.
fair.
Versus present.
How does he know they're alive in other villages?
I think how I worded it was that they were alive after the attack, or the last he knew they were alive, as in like
He
he
doesn't
saw
have an
them
indication.
semi-recently and could confirm that they were alive semi-recently.
So they could be semi-dead.
Most
Mostly dead.
chocolate fixes
To
everything.
blame. Okay.
Natural causes.
Okay.
Anyway,
It sounds like a remnant, whatever.
well,
If
mean,
you
I
want to
don't-
reach out, mention
I don't know if we need that info on the orcs, but at the same time, it wouldn't hurt to know it because we don't know what it is.
And the not knowing it does help.
I
too.
mean,
Would
we
it-
might as well get it. It's not gonna hurt.
Yeah, so would it make sense to travel to his house and meet him? And maybe,
So you're not on a time frame?
Do you think maybe we could get him to leave?
Kidnap.
Because it would be a lot easier to get.
I guess-
one
I
person
guess
to
that
leave
would
the
be-
town versus all of us to sneak in.
that does make more sense. I guess we could do that.
No one goes in or
But-
no one goes out.
And then,
It does seem that way at the gate. There's people posted at the gate.
Yeah.
That are
and where's
stalling.
that?
That's down below,
Here?
The
down
southern
past
part.
here.
Yeah.
So we're in the town, kind of, but
No,
Not
you guys
yet.
are off to the side.
Yeah, we're still.
You're not even
so
in
we
the
still have
village.
to enter that way.
I wouldn't even consider you guys on the outskirts yet.
Mm-mm.
Because you're like 15, 20 minutes walking till you get to like the outskirts of it.
We could get your friend to follow
Yeah,
Festus.
we're 15 minutes away. Yeah,
So
he-
you can be like, I'm
Okay, I
hunting
guess-
a bird
I
or
guess I was
something, and
thinking
he's
like we just kind of go off this path and then go out to it. That's not true.
he's used to
There
getting
is a
birds.
path, yes. But this is also somewhere that your sister managed for years to come out here to be alone.
So it's not like immediately.
So it's not like,
Oh.
oh, there's a well-traveled
Yeah,
like
yeah.
deer path or something.
But he doesn't have to go through the gate. He can just
No,
leave.
no, yeah,
Okay.
So this whole
Alright.
village isn't surrounded by a fence.
no. There's no.
So
The only
there's-
part that there's like a
Let them
fencing is down at the gate part.
So
This
there's
there's
centuries and
there's
lean
mountains along this side,
Yeah.
and
The
then
gates
this
are shut.
falls
Yes.
off to a cliff to
The
the point where
status
it
thing.
gets down here past,
Okay. All right.
and then the mountain starts again. But this is
Yeah.
essentially like a cliff.
So it's like
So
our
it's
southern
like, this
border.
is the
They have
front
fencing, but you can
door.
just walk around. There you go.
This is the front
You have
door.
to scale the wall, except for the little nook over here.
The English muffin over here, the nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
Over there. That's what he said earlier. That Dothra knows about. That she dragged you through.
Anyway,
That's why you're a little more slow.
I bet we could get him to come out, and I could lead him there with Festus, and it wouldn't be a big problem.
At nighttime?
Sure.
Yeah, I would think nighttime probably would be best.
But remember-
a little bit more suspicious at nighttime.
Well, yeah, but orcs have nocturnal vision. And if
Well,
they're
you know,
guarding,
during
they'll
the
be able to
day, you
see
can at least say he's
lumbering
going
guy,
for
old
some
guy go to the
purpose
side, go through a hole.
versus going at night where it's like, what are you doing? You're normally in bed. Old timer, you've been doing this for 80 years.
Yeah, but what business does he have in the daytime to go over there also?
You can at least make a valid excuse versus.
I have to go to the bathroom with this tree wood over there.
It's the dogwood. I always go bathroom on dogwood.
Each time is a new tree. Why it's so far away?
Privacy, please, step away.
I'm just saying there's better options for daytime than nighttime.
Okay.
This is gonna go so
Whatever
well.
you say. Here goes nothing.
Will Festus be up long enough?
Oh yeah, he's up for hours.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a night owl.
He's a falcon, but I'll give it to you.
Don't be so literal.
Carnivorous birds.
So
They're in
it
the
could be
same
the other movie.
Raylog, do you have a backup contingency of, how should I say, a travesty happens, how you would handle it? If this man gets caught during the time of his trying to exiled from the town and he's eliminated, how would your character, as a fellow Vigon who had a relationship, how would you act? And to think possibly you're the one who led to his demise.
What are you doing, Torvine? Why are you so, like, what is this?
I'm
business?
preparing him for a tragedy in case it happens.
So he doesn't pass out again.
Because I know Colton so well.
He has a connection, and this is part of the remnant he has a connection to. And if something bad happens.
We can walk, don't have to stay this far away.
I'm just saying.
I can go up there. No one knows.
I don't know how you feel.
I'll go closer if you want.
Well, Raylog would definitely feel pretty sad if that happened.
So all we have to do is put tissues next.
It would hurt. I would think he'd be kind of
Put out.
mad about it,
Yeah.
a little mad.
Okay.
Oh, anger's good.
Yeah, it's yes. It's a justified holy anger concept.
Cleansing breaths, left-handed anger, Raylog.
You hear his
Left-handed
voice
anger.
in your head.
Remember
Where
our
does
breathing
your power
exercises.
come from?
Left-handed anger.
It's not
left-handed
Lamaze.
anger.
I'm not pregnant. Like, what are you doing?
Hold his hand.
That's what we're gonna do then.
Oh no, I feel like Pastor and we went on a rabbit path here.
Yes,
Let's get back to the focus now.
Jack
What was that again?
Everyone go home. I'm done.
Okay, I'm still walking a little bit down the path towards the village.
She's just saying she's done with the conversation.
Yeah, that's her way of saying
I
it.
have made
So-
my exit.
Would and as far as excuses go, would
Because we have
him
those.
following a bird be enough, or would it be like? I guess we don't have that orc armor anymore, right?
Well, that's not the point. The point is he's already had something weird happen to him, and so this can't be that far-fetched for him to think about following the bird. You know what I mean? He just heard voices in his head of someone that he's
Yeah, but
never-
like if someone sees him, I'm following this bird.
Well, that's true. If you want to send something so he rehearses an excuse, that's fine. Because he's not a storyteller, makes it up as it goes. So, I mean, you would have to be rehearsing something if you think he needs an alibi, I guess is the word.
Yes. What is his alibi?
You think of it, you're a Vigon. We already gave you ours.
Well, 'cause, like if,
some recent carrion where the bird is circling and he wants to harvest it because it's dead.
Did you hear the first part?
Yeah, like some animal or something. Is that?
Yeah, he's a butcher, right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so he thinks that there's some, recently deceased animal due to the circling bird.
Okay.
And it's easy to go get it and bring it back.
Oh, I hope you do it. You see an orc do that, Maybe I can touch it and get a little flavor.
Flavor.
Anyways, I'm not giving him any ideas.
None at all. I had already thought of it. The face went from happy to like.
Inflated.
He took it. Okay, alright. Well, we think in some areas of life, if we want to mess someone's plan.
All right. So,
So
2, 1.
I guess Raylog will borrow the stone again.
Only one more charge.
there's two on that one.
Anybody
But you're
know?
only going to use one charge, because I need the other one for Ginger.
Oh, just borrow Symbols.
I'm trying to be responsible with my charge.
For once.
Gotta start
Don't
somewhere.
you need more than one charge anyway for your conversation
I would
with
like-
her?
Now I have to cut down on my conversation with Ginger
Yes.
and only be a minute
Yes.
instead of 5.
See, if we use all this one, you have a whole sending stone to go through if you borrow hers.
I can't borrow hers, I'm being responsible with mine. Now, if I get an extender on mine for more charges, I'll try that. But for right now, I'm limited.
I'm sorry, they don't have a battery pack case for the rock.
Not yet.
What's
We
a
will devise
battery?
one.
What's the case?
A holding cell. That's all I said.
What's a cell?
It's
You're
a
talking like a
prison.
holding
I'm sending
cell?
you soon.
Go to your room.
Yeah.
Aw, man.
Experience bees.
So
Torvine's assuming he's gonna be alive tonight in order to call Ginger.
I'm not walking through a hole.
alright, so before I do my call,
Yes.
do we want the bird to be there? So I can be like, hey, can you follow this bird that's right
Opens
there?
the door.
Or do we want him?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So he knows who you,
'Cause it's
which
not
one you're
like-
talking about.
Right.
He'll
But, like,
follow
it's
some
not-
weird bird somewhere.
Yes.
See a
But also,
bird?
it's not okay. You have to wait because
Yeah.
a few minutes because the bird needs.
Follow
right.
the bird. with
Yeah,
the
I know what you
red
mean.
ribbon.
So is Sybil ready with the bird?
Ready the bird!
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That means she's been waiting.
She's like, we've been ready!
Yeah.
So what is the bird doing? What can I help him know what to follow?
I'll just have them circle semi near us, not directly over us, but in our area.
He's the one wearing barding.
Yeah.
An armored
He's
bird.
armor on him. Leather armor. He's barding.
I'll go down the road a little bit and I'll meet up with them and make sure that he gets here alright.
Okay. All
A
right.
heavily armored vehicle. We've got a heavily armored bird.
So where's the bird starting to lead him from?
Yeah.
He has to actually look into the sky and see a circling bird. Head towards circle bird.
And
You are in the mountains, and this is 15 to 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So for him to see it, Festus would have to be way, way up, and it would be way, way out in the distance. It would look like
Okay. Does he
he
blind?
can't like. It might be better to have like Festus sit somewhere like on the roof of his home and be like, "There's a bird out on your roof,
Well, I'm
and it's gonna
assuming
take off.
when
Follow
Festus
it."
sees him poke out, it can dive bomb him and he'll
That
know
in
it's
the village?
he'll come down out of elevation when he sees the old man come. Then he'll be next to him. Correct.
Sure.
For safety's sake, he's up there until he sees the old man and then
He
comes
needs to
down.
stay high.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying, however you.
Well, you were
Like
just
I
saying
need to
what he
describe it, but I also need it to be clear because like
Yeah.
He's a
because
hawk.
if there's other birds there, I mean,
Yeah.
he's not gonna know.
The best thing could be like a bird will come to you, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll dive bomb you.
A bird
And-
will run.
And what does the bird look like so he can anticipate it when it's coming?
Silver falcon with
Brown and white.
birding.
Brown and white with leather barding.
Okay.
With a sign. Follow me, follow me.
Yeah.
Like the planes pulling the.
Yeah, like the banner behind the
He will
plane.
stare at you until you follow him.
It
Look
says,
over here! Look over here! Look away! Look away!
it says vote for Trump on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I spent a lot of gold for that sign.
This is why we play RPGs.
Bacon and Durex.
So we can use a storyline.
All right, so
Kevin's like, I want my story arc to be over so bad. I'm so done with this.
so Raylog's gonna take the sending stone and he's going to call Durek again. He's going to say, "Hey Durek, this is Raylog again. We
Who? I'm kidding.
Oh
I'm
my
kidding.
goodness.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
okay.
I'm totally kidding.
So
Can I tell you?
Raylog's gonna be like, so my sister and myself and a few other of my friends are about 15, 20 minutes away from Heartmount.
What are those?
And one of my friends has this bird companion, and it's going to come to you, and we'd like you to follow it so we can have a chat about the orcs and better understand the orc situation before we try and deal with the overall conflict situation. Are you able to see the bird? It should be coming closer. It's like you said, brown and white bird. It's a falcon, and it has some barding on it.
Okay. Yeah. You're close by. Yeah. Didn't realize you were so close. Yeah. I'll go outside. And wait for a bird.
Yeah, some falcon will come and it will guide you to where we are, and then you will meet part way. You will meet one of our friends. Her name is Sybil, and she will help continue to guide you the rest of the way. If someone does see you, you can say maybe you're out hunting an animal or something for to butcher in your shop, or you see this bird circling around maybe something that's dead, and you're considering maybe butchering it as a potential excuse in case.
Okay. Yeah. I'll think of something.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure it will be believable.
That's the name.
All right.
Do you see the bird?
You can. It takes a few moments, but then it's like, oh yes. I see a bird similar to what you described. Okay. I'm following a bird.
All right. We will. Yeah, it'll be maybe a good 10 minutes or so, and then you should meet up with our.
And Festus
friend.
sees him walking the opposite way, following the wrong bird. I'm kidding.
Not
I'm
the
kidding.
pigeon! Not the pigeon!
I'm kidding.
He's colorblind.
Is this brown?
Oh,
some
there's so much fun
dragons.
I can.
Down and it's on the mountain.
Is this a comedy?
It wants me to walk off the ledge. Okay.
His leg bracelet puts the alarm off. From the
So
house.
Raylog will kind of end the call and be like, okay, sounds good. I will see you in about 20 minutes. Bye.
Bye.
Good luck. You're gonna need it.
All right, we're gonna take a break. To use the restroom and whatnot, and we'll be back in like 5 minutes or so. And we'll pick up from there with Durik meeting up with you guys. Yes. All right. So, picking up where we left off here. It takes a good. You said you were meeting him like halfway, Kim.
Yeah.
Okay, it's about a little around like 10 minutes ish. Um, that you end up seeing a uh, figure resembling a Vigon making their way down the trail that you see ahead of you, wearing various different types of furs, like for like boots, and then also wearing on the top, and then like having just like cloth pants on the bottom. You see, also has shoulder length black hair that's kind of like salt and pepper as he gets closer, and then a not a full beard like Raylog's that actually like comes down, but just one that's kind of like trimmed around his face, sort of. Um, Long enough that it like sticks out, and you could and there's some bits of jewelry and things like that, almost like what you would expect from a dwarf in his beard. But that's what you see walking down the trail casually. As he gets closer, he does not look uh, old. He looks like he's probably in his like 50s ish. But he walks up and is like, uh, I suspect that you are Sybil?
Yep. That would be me and you two. What you got?
Yes, I am Durik. Is,
We should probably write that down at some point. Alright, well, this way, follow me.
after you then.
I'll have Festus follow behind us and like wait a while to make sure he wasn't followed.
Okay. So the rest of you eventually see Sybil and a Vigon figure show up through the clearing and approach the group. Sybil, you would have noticed this earlier whenever he approached you, but you're not sure if this is something new or if this is how he's always looked. But the Vigons would know that this is something that is new from when they last saw him. But there is a imprint kind of around his throat that looks like it was squeezed rather hard, and it looks like part of his throat's almost like part of his neck's kind of crushed in a way.
Indentation.
Yeah. And there was probably some severe bruising there at some point whenever it was done. But it just looks like a massive like palm print almost, but the neck's kind of like pushed in different places. Lou, and he kind of like walks up to the Vigons and immediately goes up to the two siblings and just gives them hugs. And it's like, it's so good to see you.
It's great to see you too.
Even just hearing your voice, I wasn't sure if it was just something in my head or whether it was real or not, but we all thought you were dead. We were told that you two were dead. But I'm glad that you're not.
Who told you we were dead?
And who are your companions?
You met Sybil. She's someone that we met a few months ago. And we were coming into a town after we had a brief battle. We were a little overmatched at that point, and we're definitely injured, and she helped heal us at that point. This is Torvine.
Hello,
And this is Kara,
Hi.
madam.
and she has a pet bear. You also see.
I see that.
Family member.
is interesting. It seems
Little Indian king called little head.
two of you seem to be very good with animals. I would say we have a bear and a bird.
Instead.
Does anybody else have like any animals or like something special about them? Possibly, I don't know.
We saw some goats on our way up here.
Oh,
But we didn't take
that
those.
is that's
Must have been
normal
their
for
habitat.
these parks. You are in the Great Mountains, after all.
Other than that, we didn't see a whole lot of animals. Not at least the kind you'd want to keep around.
Well, I do from time to time. I have a very close friend. It is also a bear. His name is Brutus. When he makes himself known.
Oh, okay. So you all, and he kind of like looks at the Vigons and like, do you have some kind of animal?
No,
I take a
Friend?
step back.
we don't.
We have a sibling.
Oh.
That's all we need.
Okay.
I mean,
Those
I didn't
that
even know you
know,
guys were
know.
hawkers.
Those that know.
I mean, unless you didn't let him give you a hug, I don't know.
Unless you let I. That's this. I mean, that's true.
That's the step.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's turned into the Tangers.
I will endure this
We're huggers.
moment,
Okay.
but I'm not for it.
Well,
I'll adore it. Not
it
a
seems that you are a lot closer than I thought you were. What are you doing up here?
We've come to try and free Heartmount from the situation that it's in. But in order to do that, we needed to better understand what's actually going on. And from what we understood, that it was the kind of the root of all the conflict. And I guess we're trying to understand it and understand the orcs and why they're here and a part of everything and why.
So you're saying that there's already a conflict going on?
Oh yes, there's the Living Tree Forest at the base of the mountains. There's their leader, Galandria, let us know about that. And then she did come across Raylog and Dothra and realized there might have been a connection. And then they realized something from their homeland was amiss. And so that drove them to come up here to investigate and figure out what's going on.
Why would you can see like he kind of like puts his hand up and starts like pacing back and forth. Seems like he's mulling something over, and he kind of like mutters to himself a little bit. He's like, doesn't make any sense. Why would you attack Living Tree Forest? It doesn't make any sense. Well,
Can he do a history check and try to see?
Do you know someone who may know the answer to that? Someone that we can trust?
well, I can tell you what I know
Okay.
about what has transpired since then.
Yeah,
but
I
I don't-
guess if you want to describe what happened to you personally a little bit, and then
You have
the
at least
story
5
with
minutes.
So-
the orcs.
There was the attack, which you are familiar with. The day following the attack, those of us that weren't able to flee and to get away from the village, we were all gathered to the village center and informed that your uncle was now the high chief, and we were told that that all other immediate family members, excluding him, were gone, were dead, and that he was the only surviving member of the Lionheart line, even though just being an extension, still a part of the line nonetheless. And because of him being the only surviving member, he named himself High Chief. there were those of us that were, shall I say, a little hesitant to believe that to move on. And we knew word, and we had seen your father's body by that time, but there was no confirmation about you or your sister. There were no bodies found, but nonetheless, he insisted that he was the last surviving member, and there were enough to side with him that there wasn't really any going against it unless you wanted to risk your life. So we went along with it, as much as we didn't like it. At that point, it was assumed that the attackers, or those that attacked the village that night, were defeated because there were no orcs. There was no orcs in the streets in the village at that time. It was just us, the usual folk, with the exception of those that still had arms from the fight. But we were informed, your uncle told us that we needed to prepare to defend against another attack, and he had reason to believe that the attackers were going to return. So we began to rebuild the defenses and try to rebuild any damage to the wall, try to build any sort of defense that we could. We assumed at that time that there were some that had fled and were able to escape, but it had not been confirmed at that time, and over the several days that passed after the attack, none had returned. And it wasn't until a little over a week later that we were hit by what we were told was another attack. But it turned out to be those who had fled the night of the first attack, returning, and it was realized at that fact that your uncle had deceived the rest of us into believing that it was a random attack, that the first attack was random. And we were also told that the high chiefs, or your father, that you had survived the attack at that time. We all went to confront your uncle about what he had told us and the information that we were given and why he would have the village attack and why he orchestrated it. But as we went to confront him, it was at that moment that outside of the High Chief home, the portals opened up and orcs began to flood into the village, along with trolls and some animal-looking bipedal creatures as well came through these portals, and at that point we were outnumbered. And it was at that moment that we understood that the original attack was planned not only by him, but that he had help. And that the attack was planned, and then the plan was to overthrow your father. To make Kudo, your uncle, the new High Chief. And he was working with a mysterious figure that we have only seen several times since then. What his goals are, we don't know. But your uncle was working with him. We also learned at this point who was loyal to your father and who was not. It seems like some of those that we called friends were not actually our friends. and even helped your uncle during the attack, the original attack. Currently, from what I can tell, about a third of the village would actually even stray to claim loyalty to your father. And the following day, after attempting to confront your uncle, all of us were pulled into the center of town, or center of the village, and we were told how things were going to go from there, and that who was in charge, and if anybody didn't like it, that they would be dealt with accordingly. There were some that resisted, and they were dealt with, and we were not seen again. They were not seen again. Although recently, within the last 2 or 3 weeks, it seems like there has been a strange unrest between the orcs and your uncle and those loyal to him. I'm not exactly sure why, but it just seems like there's something happened, and there is a bit of butting of heads, so to speak, amongst them, as well as much of those that were loyal to your father being sent away, or at least those that did not agree with your uncle and how he decided to start running things. They were sent away to Herdun to begin some mining operation, which we weren't really given specifics about.
Always comes down to
You and I.
You guys would know that Herdun is actually the mine where the heart of the mountain was found at. So, whether that has any connection to what's transpiring, you don't know. But 2 to 3 weeks ago was also when you guys freed Whetstone as well.
Knew it. All connected.
The new mining community to make up for the lack of somehow.
Mm-hmm. Not because they ran out of resources.
They were
And
using-
denied.
Woohoo! Good
Colonel.
girl.
It's your birthday. We only know that because your dad was there and yeah.
There was lots of drama,
Speaking of
family
daddy
issues.
More daddy issues. Is that going to be the backstory behind every single daddy?
Well,
You're
I don't
just
think Raylog's is
you're
a
just
daddy
beaten
issue.
with daddy
It's
issues.
more of an uncle issue.
Yeah, now it's a lack of daddy issue. No.
Yeah. But that is what has transpired since you guys left, since you fled. As I said before, we were told after what we were told was the second attack. We were told that you two survived, but it was then that following day after the orcs and trolls showed up. That following day when we were told how things were going to be run from then on, we were told that you both were no longer in the picture, and that you were dealt with. So we assumed that you were dead, despite having survived the original attack.
They've been close to death a couple times.
It hasn't really stopped us before.
Most of us have been close to
slowed us down a little bit, but
Some
never
of us
really
not so
stopped
close.
us. It hasn't really
But
been
others-
a factor.
Like coming back out of the jaws of death.
There are those of us who dream about dying, and then we wake up and we're like, well, guess I didn't die. Not that we're thinking of anyone.
Been a long journey.
Yeah. Going down.
I do have a question for you,
Down,
Richard.
down.
You said that there was this other individual that
Yes.
his uncle. Yes.
An elf, I believe, was wearing robes, black and red robes,
Black and red.
and
huh?
a symbol on the robes, that of a dragon's head.
Sounds familiar.
What's his name? Starts with a V.
I think it's David. Or you might be considering Vlad.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
considering Vlad.
Yes.
I don't know.
And we do not have a name for this individual. As I said, he
Couldn't see his name tag.
Hello, my name is.
he's only ever spoken to their uncle and
I have a beef.
an orc that seems to have conversations with him, but
Gurge. You never were close enough to hear any conversation.
no. And if I was, I probably would have.
I have a question then. I don't mean to stare, but you have a hand mark underneath your chin. Now, would you be so kind as to tell us how that came to be?
Tell us all about
I
your
have their
trouble.
uncle to thank for that. A short time. Actually, it was right around when we were told that these two were dealt with. I had an outburst, I guess you could say, and approached their uncle and told him that he was even less of a man than his brother, and could never be like him, and he would never be as great as his brother. And he proceeded to grab me by the throat and could have killed me, but decided to probably let me live as an example to those to maybe not speak out against him again. But my voice hasn't been the same ever since.
So he was basically crushing your letter.
Yeah.
You didn't feel any special, unique, supernatural thing go pulsating from his hand to your body?
I felt his
I mean,
pulse through my hand.
Other than
Kudo's
fear?
always been a strong one, but I'm not exactly weak myself, but
No, you don't.
that was certainly some brute strength that he had at his disposal.
And he caught you off.
That too.
We were a little
Are you
emotional.
saying, are you educated in the ways of warfare?
I can defend myself if need be.
You don't have a
I'm
certificate?
by no means a super skilled fighter, but I can defend myself.
Raylog happens to have some items that are for more his size. Do any of these seem familiar that you could use?
What items do you have in mind?
Why, little twiglet weapons.
Like, I don't know what you're.
But he also explains a little bit more about that.
You have a
encounter
warhammer, don't
with,
you?
Yeah.
It's made for. It's a great warhammer.
He goes on to explain a little bit more about the
Don't get too much
encounter
into
that he had with Kudo with crushing his neck.
Kudos.
As he explained before, he's not exactly a pushover himself.
Right.
With having to go through and butcher things as a living.
Yeah.
but even that, his uncle was able to lift
Sure.
him essentially with one arm, and even with him trying to break it with both of his arms, he didn't seem like it was doing very much.
Did you notice if Kudo was possibly wearing something he normally doesn't wear? Maybe
At the time, he was wearing the High Chief's investments. But that, other than that, that was the only.
and not like an armband of something that's unusual, or maybe some
Mhm.
gaudy ring that's unusual that he would wear,
Not particularly, no.
or a special helmet. You know, Viking.
Nope.
Maybe a little bunny tail on the back of his robe.
No.
No.
Lucky
A
rabbit.
lucky rabbit, perhaps.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a foot, not a tail.
It's
Oh,
around the
boy.
Who are we to judge?
Yeah.
It's all
It's
fluffy.
preference.
A dog
Okay.
wouldn't know the difference. Wouldn't care.
I just, because of the scenes of the influence of this outside person, that it seems like they might have been able to bring something to enhance maybe some of his natural abilities, being that
Like you guys have never come across anything that's enhanced.
Yeah.
Anything.
Not a one.
this robed figure elf sounds like somebody who would be having access to supernatural bad things to help people do their cruel malice towards others.
It's possible.
Possible. Yes, I was waiting for that. Now,
I mean,
there is.
I'm not too much for the supernatural. I mean,
Well, not many are.
except for,
Yes.
I mean, my experience with the supernatural has been whatever Raylog was doing, which was absolutely that was kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
what are you
and
doing?
Cool. However, you were speaking through a rock to me is beyond my understanding. But
He is a rocker. Yes. Well, supernatural does exist. I am a follower of the Creator, and so is Sybil.
I'm familiar with the.
Do you have a
The
temple in
term-
your town?
No.
That explains a lot. Okay. It's good to know that there are those with a natural good heart. That is a very, how should I say, not acceptable, but a very commendable way to live. And the Creator endorses it.
Well, if he's for the good in the world, then I'm all for him.
So you know your buds. Sounds good. I have a question about these things that come through portals. You said there were orcs, but you said there were other things.
Yes,
too.
there were orcs,
man,
trolls,
they're
and then
nasty
there was
guys.
some sort of animal-like bipedal, almost like wolf-like.
Oh. Have you ever seen any of these not be wolf, where they didn't know you saw this, but they might have changed into something else?
Well, we did see them. It's hard to describe because outside of Raylog speaking to me in my head, this is the only thing out of the ordinary that kind of seems supernatural, but they kind of, they changed shape somehow. Some of them turned into, I mean, there was a variety. There was some elves, humans, dwarves. There was a variety.
Sybil, would you
However,
look
none
at
of
the
them
temple
have.
items?
None of them are in the village. I haven't seen them since that night or that day.
Were there similar bipedals that were during the battle of the attack on the...
From what I've heard from different people that I've spoken to since then, it seems like there were some that were present during the attack, the original attack.
Which means probably a mixture of orcs and possibly these wolf creature people.
Yes.
We have a small answer of what you were looking at for those who seem to morph or change from a person into a beast. And, we've looked it up in the archives, very old ones. There is a disease, it's called brutum morbus.
Yes, and it wasn't just wolf though. Like there was some that resembled almost like a cat-like creature, and there was other ones that there was a few that even resembled kind of like a bear.
So they're all a type of morbus, but different type of beastie, I think, a line that would come from a different infection. But nonetheless, a altering result nonetheless.
There's
Yeah.
nothing I've ever seen before.
And not many have. This is a unique evil that has crept into the land. The disease itself isn't per se evil, but is usually used to
For evil ends.
for evil. One last question, because I'm about done talking. Did you see a very large beastie person about the size of a Lygon? That would be hairy and large, but still seemed to have a commanding presence about them, just by Peter Walton.
Come to think of it, I mean, I remember seeing a figure like that the night of the attack. Because I remember going towards the High Chief's home during the night of the attack and seeing a large individual with furry hands and a furry like palm, I guess you could say. Didn't really see a face because it was dark, but I do remember that. There's also one time I can remember the orc that your uncle sometimes speaks to seemed to have a conversation with a large figure in similar robes to the other one, the elf, the big, tall, furry. But that's only happened once.
Well, it's still part of the puzzle, no matter how many times. We have encountered a very large evidence of a large furry beast, as you speak of, but never confronted. He is well out of my league, I would say. He's very strong. Maybe someday we'll catch up with him as a group. We might beat him, but I would not want to.
So you're saying that this elf is answering to someone else?
I don't know the hierarchy, but I do know they're in league together. And I think they answer to one other who is higher than them. But it seems to be a plan that wants to be implemented to take over all the regions across the north. Not just here. This is just part of the puzzle.
Because I don't even... It doesn't make any sense to me. You say that they're attacking the Living Tree Forest. It doesn't...
Well,
We've never... Conflict has never left the bounds of the Great Mountains.
That's why they want to tap into your strength. So they can use that strength that hasn't been accounted for to be able to attack places where you haven't attacked.
But to what end? What would you gain from destroying the Living Tree Forest or conquering it?
You would use someone else's force so you wouldn't have to. Your people are going to be used as a puppet in order to eliminate a foe they don't want to fight. So you are fighting someone else's war.
You guys also know from being there and using detect empowerments that there's a lot of natural empowerment connection there, as well as there at the large tree, there is a overabundance of imbuminite that seems to be beneath it. And it seemed to be scattered throughout the landscape too.
Yeah, great mining place. But the problem is there are natural squatters there. So yes, your people are to be used to eliminate another group of people for someone else's. And they're using the blind ambition of his uncle to do that.
So even his uncle is being played in a way.
Yep, he's just too prideful to notice it.
Well, that might explain a little bit about why there's a little recent unrest between what seem to be two ally forces. But could be something else.
They are still together.
Yes.
Might be an unholy alliance, but they're still together. Can be fractured.
Also heard through the grapevine within the last day or two that there's another group in the village or around the village somehow. At least that's what I've heard from in passing from different folks that claim loyalty to your uncle. Another group, yes. A group that they wish to find and to get rid of.
So they're searching for this group.
I would imagine
To
so
root 'em
if
up,
they
right.
wish to get
Do you
rid
mean
of them.
group of other Vygons or just a group of resistance people?
I do not have particulars, I just know that they're looking for a group. Unless you guys know of another group that would have a reason to be up here.
I only know one group of unique people that have been before us, before we even entered these regions. I don't know them well, but we did run into them over at King's Harbor. It's literally a group. There's a Vygon in the group. There's a group named Group. There's a
Group A.
Yeah.
Move on.
The Vygon I know has a hammer called Heat. They're probably at least level 10 by now.
I released the handy hammer.
So I hope it's the group. He's a Vygon.
Okay, well, I mean, if it's a group that have it's anywhere close to what you are describing yourselves being able to do, there might be hope of us overthrowing your uncle.
Yeah.
If that's the plan, I don't know. I don't know if you're just.
I don't know yet. We don't know, really. We're piecing information together to see what our final thoughts on how to handle it. We haven't come to a full understanding of who we need to, I won't say eliminate, but to deal with. We don't know how to deal with the ones yet. Because, like you say, his uncle is being played, but we don't. If he's being played, maybe he will see the light and join to save his people. Not the idea he needs to be eliminated.
As much as I don't generally wish evil on anyone, but your uncle orchestrated the first attack. He collaborated. Collaborated. Thank you.
He collaborated.
He clobbered a lot.
Collaborated with that mysterious figure and the orcs and those who attacked us that night, and I don't know if he's personally responsible for it, but in a way he is for your father's death. And he had the most to gain from it. So, if he's being taken advantage of, I don't really pity him. That's just my own personal feelings.
That probably gets you killed. Because that's all they have. There's something called justice.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Or irony.
Yeah.
Karma.
Sometimes they work together.
So, and since there isn't like a legal system on your side, justice would have to be served by those who are the only ones who can. I'm done.
Yeah, what he's done definitely isn't right. It does not sit well with me that he murdered my family and intended to entirely wipe us out. He might have gotten help or maybe been influenced, but he still acted upon it. He could have said no or something. He chose to do what he did. That definitely is not acceptable. He does not deserve to be the ruler. That's how he treats.
Well spoken. Well, I don't know what your group's plan is for this, but I best not be gone too long, lest others be curious on where I am. But I am glad that you are alive, and if your plan is to take the village back from your uncle, I am grateful, and those of us that are loyal to your father, we are grateful. If you choose not to, I understand. You have a life outside of the village here. You have a group here that seems to be close, that you can call family. I can understand if you don't want to throw it away and you wish to have a different home. It's completely up to you.
Actually, we do have a whole house.
For clarity, we're not family.
Find another tree, Leonard.
Kindred.
Yeah. In our name,
We
it's
are a group
kindred. So
with a family-like name, but we are not actually
I understand.
relevant.
You might not be related by blood, but
It was a joke. It's gone. It's fun.
It's gone. It's
Moment's
you
over.
missed it.
Yeah.
You
Forgive
missed
me.
the boat.
No.
It's alright. They don't like my jokes at school either. It's fun.
Don't worry, it took a long time just to get the name,
Mm.
but either way, we want to see justice served, no matter where we put our hat. This is a very good place to make that come true.
Besides, your home isn't the only one at stake here, so.
Yep.
this is true. But for you to risk your lives so far up here, I understand that it's different for these two, but for you to have no connection to this village and to risk your lives to see justice done, a simple thank you would not suffice, but I don't know how else to say it.
I do. That's morality notable.
You haven't done it yet. It's all words.
I'm here.
The exit is right there.
That's why I'm hanging around.
He feels better. That's a weird something, right?
What's that?
He feels better though on the inside.
Yes. You get a warm, fuzzy, tingling feeling on the inside.
Put it out. I don't want to catch on fire. A little stick.
Your heart grew 3 sizes that day.
I can beat up Brutus now. I'll throw you.
Raylog will say, well, thank you for coming out here and helping us to get a better understanding of the situation. We will have to spend some time and kind of think and maybe spend a little time planning what we will do. I guess in the meantime, you should probably head back so there's no suspicion.
Yeah. Hey, do you want a dead animal? Well, your cover
You
story
have one.
too. Well, Festus could get you a dead animal. He's a hog. You could root one up from the sky and dive bomb it and give it to you. No charge.
People will have seen him leaving the village going, I really want to get that bird to eat. And then he'll come back and I'll be like, I found a chipmunk.
Here you go.
Be like, we can't let this guy out of our sight.
I mean,
never finishes
if you guys can get me something, that'd be
There's a couple
good, but
dead web things back there we can give you from the tunnel. But
that's like a day away though.
It's a long journey. It will be so explainable when he's coming with a leg bone of some sort, some creature.
Had to fight this thing day and night.
Ooh, you sign him up. He's dead. Put the guy on guard.
With nothing but my butcher's knife.
There you go.
My cleaver.
That's his new name now. That's Cleaver over there.
Clever cleaver.
Yeah, leave it to Cleaver.
All right.
It's like, I like this too much.
He gets up and once again gives the siblings a hug and then turns around and begins to head back to Heartmount.
I'll make sure Festus kind of follows them back just to make sure it's in there.
How far is Festus following him back?
Just up high. Because he stopped partway on the road. So Festus didn't come back with us because he's still watching to make sure he wasn't followed.
Yeah,
So
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
he'll watch him go past and fly up into the sky, make a couple loops, make sure he sees him leave the forest, and then he can go and do whatever.
So you're just watching him leave the clearing / forest, and that's it?
No, like the forest to the town. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not too far from where you go in or where you come into the village to where his home's at.
So
So-
what kind of animal
so
does
just
Festus
as
get
long
for?
as he makes it out of the woods.
I don't know. A random bird.
A deer.
Yeah, a full deer.
A moose.
No, he comes back with
A moose.
He could get a condor for him. For all those birds that got me here. Condor.
It's just I don't know. You pick a bird, some kind of random bird in the tree that Festus takes out.
Blackbird.
Sure.
Crow.
Oh, down.
Following him back, this is, I mean, you guys started having conversation and whatnot. It's getting close to late morning at this point. As he goes back, and Festus follows him, you will see him go through and enter back into the village, and Festus kind of follows him out past, sees him, does like a circle around the village, kind of watching him as he goes to his home. And afterwards, he's kind of like midway through his arc and turn around, and Festus notices a group of orcs and Vigons congregated outside of a home, and it seems like one of them is pounding on a door.
On his door.
No, not his door, a
Oh.
different door.
Okay.
But he notices that
Geographically in the village.
as he's circling around.
Raylog wants to know.
Where is this?
On the map.
It is, if you go from the statue and go straight down through the middle, not the first full house there, but the second one.
It's surrounded by 3 trees.
It has one in the front, one in the back, and then there's the one that's up on the ledge.
There's one on the left. Oh, the third
This-
house
this-
down from that
this
section.
Right here.
That
The
doesn't
second
help
one.
me look. So like,
Okay.
it's the back of the paper.
You mean this one right here?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, I was over here.
Can you send a picture of that to Kim there?
Yes. Make sure I got the right one. This one.
And be like, is
Yes,
that
that
important to you? Looks like trouble going on down there.
You guys would know that is
The candlestick marker.
the baker's
I
home.
knew
The
it.
baker. Jim
Torgar.
Baker and Tammy Faye live right there.
It looks like something's going down right there. It's kind of surrounded. They're banging on the door.
Uh-oh.
Probably nothing good's gonna come of that.
You hear music? Bad boys, bad boys.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
When the thugs are breaking down the door for you. Okay.
Okay. Test this watch to see what happens. Like, is there actually someone there in the house? Like, does it look occupied?
Well, once they
There are
break
lights
down the
on.
It
door.
looks lived in.
Yeah.
From at least from what you can tell from the outside.
Not like the other town we went in, it was all grown up. Person. Well, I mean, we're where we are. We really can't do it. Unless we make ourselves known and just run in and start doing stuff. So,
No.
I'm always down for the action. I'd rather do something than not do anything. What was the other thing I was thinking of in my mind? We should tell Galindra where we are and what we're about to do before we do it, though. That's my opinion.
do you think she? Oh, I don't know. She can do a tree thing over here. Like, how
No,
far-
it's not for her to do a tree thing. It's just for her to know. So that
Get us out! Get us out right now! We're all dying!
Oh, it wasn't gonna be that dramatic, but it was more like, hey, we made it to the place. There's actually some disunity, you know.
Yeah, and what's going on the front lines?
How are things going?
Yeah.
We're thinking about doing this.
So yeah, do that right now. That's cool.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, use your stone.
Alright, rock. Oh, do I still have the rock?
Yeah, you have all 5.
I don't know, do you?
We finished the 2 on mine.
You search for the rock in your backpack.
Oh, I dropped it somewhere in the cave.
Where's my rock? Where's
All
my
right,
rock?
Gollum, go back
However,
and
when
get
you
it.
go through the other stones, the stones that you were identifying, you find the stone that you're looking for, and you misplaced the 2 stones.
Oh, I
Where's
got
my
all
rock?
sorts.
Does anybody
I'm
know?
kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Okay.
It's like breaking a cell phone.
Can you
Shut
call
up.
my rock? What did we do?
Should have had a rock protector on it.
Alright.
Should have had a rock box on it.
Galindra, are you busy right now? A little bit of a hurry because we need to make a quick decision. Are you busy? That's time.
No, I have a minute. So what's going on?
We're all the way at Heartmount now, so the capital village where the High Chief is. We know who it is. We kind of know what's going on a little bit in the village, where they're being forced to kind of cooperate by legal leadership and orcs and trolls and the like. Also, there's a wizard running around up here somewhere. How about your end? How are things going?
Well, the king's force or his advisors agreed to help us, and we've been shuffling men or shuffling forces over to help defend the 3 fronts. I was also informed about what transpired at the Western Front, and I appreciate your guys' help with reclaiming the front for us.
Holy moly.
Okay, so anything happening? Lots of action, no action? Seen lots of fighting? What's the spiel?
Well, after your retaking of the Western Front, it seems like things have toned down since then. But then again, it hasn't even been it's been a little over a week now. But I don't know if it's because they're just amassing for another attack or what their plan is. But regardless, we are moving more forces into the Living Tree Forest to the fronts each day that passes. So,
how far along is that? Like, how many more days, hours, moments is that gonna take?
We're amassing.
Yeah.
it depends on the. I want to say breadth of the conflict ahead.
Oh, we like bread.
But I mean, we're in a good spot right now for defending.
So you're pretty confident with what you have right now. So if we did something slightly foolish, it would be okay.
What do you mean foolish?
How much is salt?
It's not super foolish. It's more of like impulse. But again, we're right next to Heartmount. I've seen the chief like with my hawk eyes, and we were thinking about kind of going, generally speaking, in there maybe tonight or tomorrow and doing something about it.
Either will stop things or enhance it.
I will say, I do know for a fact that our scouting party did make it to Heartmount, although they said that they were going to do a little bit of recon and then just get back, but I haven't heard from them since their last.
So we can't call them, but we did see evidence of them coming up the mountain.
Yes, as I said, I mean, they did make it there, so that would make sense.
That was days ago.
Yeah, but that was a while ago. Yeah.
But you guys also traveled like 4 days underground.
Yeah, we also skipped all the
We went
things
to
that they
Silent like we did.
So, okay, so
They
we're
haven't heard
probably
from
gonna do something in the next day or two unless you have an immediate, like, objection.
I don't think we know their names.
I mean, if the scouting party is indeed in the area, if I can get in touch with them, you might be able to coordinate together.
Okay. We're on the northwestern side of Burkhart, kind of near the mountain-ish area, because we're near a cave.
Okay. The last transmission that I was given is that they were getting help from someone there, or a resident in the village.
Oh, well, that's probably not happening anymore, because I think their house is getting broken down, like, right now.
That's why the word hasty was.
I
That's
see.
why we're calling you.
Well, I don't expect you. I don't know how far you are from the village, but I don't expect you to just run in and attempt to save them. Is that if that's what you're? They knew the risks in taking the mission, and they also have abilities of their own, and they're able to hide if need be.
They're in a
Oh,
house.
I'm not worried about your elf people. I'm worried about the town person.
I understand. I will leave it up to your discretion then.
The lady says we can do whatever we want. Oh, you still heard that? Rats. Oh.
You hear a slight chuckle on the other end.
Alright, Raylock, your call.
Are you continuing the call or are you dropping it?
No, I'm dropping it.
Okay.
I mean, unless she wants to hear the last like 20 seconds.
Up to you.
Because if you want to make a decision in the next 20 seconds, I can tell her what her decision is, and that would save me a whole charge. So.
We're all about the charges.
Are you still having Festus circle the area, or?
Yeah, he's still there because I did this immediately. So.
Yeah. To witness the carnage.
Yeah.
Are you okay? You're just gonna have him hover way up in the air.
Yeah, he'll still be doing his circle-y thing.
Okay. Over the course of the conversation that you have with Galandra, you see the group outside the home. You see the Vigon pounding on the door, and it definitely seems like they're raising their voice, yelling something. Eventually, the door opens, and you can see an individual standing in the doorway. And there's a brief conversation had there before the one that's standing in the door kind of reaches out and pulls them out of the home, and two other Vigons kind of lock him in by arm lock him and hold him there as the orcs and the Vigon that was knocking on the door go into the home, and you see them enter, and that's about as far as it gets by the time that your call drops with Galandra.
Okay. Alright, Rayla. Your call.
Your choice.
What? Your people.
Yeah, you get to make the call, but if you don't do anything in the next 2 days, A, I'm probably gonna go crazy because of the full moon coming up, and B, I just have to do something. I can't watch this keep going on.
I agree. I don't think we can just let it go. I think we need to try and do something. I don't know how effective our... Did you communicate, I guess, your call? Or
She said that
Okay.
Galandra said we can do whatever we want. That's
But,
all
like,
she
It
said.
was carte blanche.
She didn't mention the scouting party having made it to the village or any of that.
To our understanding, like Kevin mentioned about when we were playing earlier, we didn't get any of the names of the scouting party. It was just the officer that told us there was a scouting party.
Yeah, we have
Yep.
the name of the officer, I think, but that's not enough to send him a message.
Right.
Correct.
Calling
Yeah.
any elf in the mountain. Calling
I'm
any
pretty
elf
sure
in the mountain.
he was getting
Can anybody hear
his
me?
house searched and beat
Yeah.
up because he's helping the other scouting party
Yeah.
who is in the area.
The name that you were given for the leader of the scouting party was Tylus.
Hang on, I do have this in my notes.
You do.
Fine.
I do.
Yeah.
It's just been a little while.
And you know that there was several soldiers that went on the scouting party, but then there was also a warden or two that was with them.
It is Tylus?
Yes, Tylus was a warden that was with them, and he's the one that was in charge.
Well, you can try Tylus then.
What do you mean try?
And you
I
could
don't
ask
know.
Galandra to kind of describe him.
You have finer points to aid you along to try to connect. I mean,
Sure.
that way we can get a hold of this
Good.
complement of 50 elves. So.
Hey, Galandra, we wanna
But
talk to
Galandra
you.
also said that she was going to try to contact them and try to tell you guys what was going on too. So
Yeah, but we don't know how long they're going to wait.
they said that they haven't heard from them since they said that they were getting help from.
Right, and that's a big span of time.
Well, it could have been just recently, or it could have been yesterday or a day or two ago.
Well, for us, the time frame we're at, that's a big span of time.
Yeah.
We need the
Relaying
information
this
quick.
information. As far as we know,
No.
Sybil
Kim has not
relayed this
relayed that
We have no
information
idea.
yet.
So it's better for us, since we're rogue on our own, get that information of description and then try to contact her.
I'll ask.
Okay, good.
Go ahead with the description of Tylus so I can attempt to contact him because that's how we're gonna make our decision.
Okay. Well, he has short brown hair. He's.
Short brown hair.
Let me pull my actual notes out here so I can tell you whether he's elf,
Sounds like a
human,
dating
or
app.
whatever.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who likes
He's
to have
either
people that
one.
we meet.
He likes
Thank goodness.
Put a bubble
Commander
out
has a
here.
notebook of people too.
I just don't remember off the top of my head.
We'll just make it up and then it's real.
No, because then I have to go through and amend my notes.
Oh. Well, we'll just forget what we said and it'll still be the way it was.
No.
I just had it, and then I was like, oh, they don't need this anymore. I'm just gonna let
there
the
was
page
your
go away. Yes, he's an elf. Short brown hair. Not. He's a little bit more on the
Shoulders.
the beefier side, like more muscular.
Yeah. Good point.
Don't like. I don't know if you've played BG3 or not, Kim.
Oh yeah. Are you like? Is he like Allison?
Like half of that.
Oh, he's okay. Half of that's still fine.
But the short brown hair, not long like Elson's.
Yeah. Short brown hair, muscly.
But he also does have a scar across his face as well that is across the eye that has 4 like claw
Like a rake.
marks.
Like
Yeah.
a rake.
Yep.
Didn't play it. EBG.
Anything else?
Ooh.
Favorite pin, cloak.
Speaking of
He would be in just our usual garb that you would have saw in
Okay.
Tree Haven.
Okay. Eyeballs?
He has what is that off green color? What is it? Hazel, yes.
Hazel eyes. Oh, this is a
Color
dating
that
app.
Mistaken.
Okay.
My eyes are.
Muscular elf. Was he tall? Is he short?
Yeah, he's pretty tall. He's like 6'1", 6'2".
You know, oh, God,
Look at the tree.
tall. Okay. Alright,
Like I said, he's like Helson, but he's like half the size, like muscular wise. He's not like this beefy, big beefy guy.
I have an image.
Okay.
T-shirt says World's Gym.
Did you draw it, Kim, so that I can see it?
I am not my character. I'm not playing that game.
Oh, come on.
Hold on. Give me a second.
Stick figure.
Behold.
All right.
Everyone plays Hangman, I don't know.
Let me know when you want to try to contact.
Right. You mean contact.
Okay. Give me 1 moment.
Are you actually trying to draw?
Absolutely.
Oh, thanks.
Oh boy.
That way there's more validity to her trying to contact.
Oh man.
She's like looking up a picture of Helson and then like just
No,
debuffing
I
it a
can't.
little.
I'm doing it on my whiteboard.
It's like use tracing paper.
Tracing paper.
Have you ever heard of a rookie?
Artist.
Yeah, people on the arts are really weird.
There's a lot of action.
There's a lot of emotion that they have. It is not consistent either. It's spotty. Goes all over the map. There you go. See arts right over there.
There are some exceptions, but
Yeah.
a lot of
What wonderful hair you have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just all
Marie
scarred.
Dusa.
There's no face. It's all scarred.
Oh, it's like, well, that would make sense. Avoid the gaze.
Okay,
Avoid the
so-
gaze.
Alright, great. I try and contact Titleist.
All right. You have dice with you?
Yeah, I do.
Can you roll a percentage for me?
Uh-huh. Sure can.
Shuriken.
Am I trying to get low?
No, he doesn't want you to know.
You just tell
the
me what
number.
you roll.
Yeah. See, that's
Alright.
easy.
I got a 99.
Wow.
Okay. There is no connection to when you try to reach out with your mind.
Yeah.
And apparently my mental image and her mental image are not the same.
Echo, echo, echo. Into the nothing.
Well, there you go.
Dead
There's
end.
your answer. I can't talk to him. I don't get it.
You blew a
Elves
charge.
are weird.
The mental power is too much
he's
for him.
no longer.
Nope, there you go.
Everyone's standing around. See, he quivers. He drops.
Yeah, it just seemed like the connection didn't really know where to connect to.
Makes sense.
Your mental image was not good enough.
Too fuzzy.
It's a little fuzzy. Give it that.
There was a country song by Kenny Rogers. I just stepped in to see what my condition was.
All right,
Oh, we're not doing that anymore. Moving on.
No.
that happened.
So we're not gonna get elf backup. What's your plan? Hold on, I'm gonna send this picture.
Are you gonna wait till night to approach your uncle, or are we gonna storm the village?
Does it make more sense to do it at night? I mean, like we're not super stealthy, and we don't really know like guard wise or anything what goes on at night. We're more conspicuous.
Nothing's going in and out. It's not like we can go into a hay cart and then pop out after you get
Sure.
over to the. So it's your call. You and Dothra. We're here to back you up.
We're here to do what you decide to do.
I mean, do you need a diversion somewhere so that way you can be up and personal while everyone's going somewhere else? Or?
Well, I don't know. If we need a diversion. I mean, there's
Well, good. I don't need help.
yeah. I mean, I feel like the diversion is them kind of searching for the other group that they know about. What I would think. If we needed one, that's sort of
You know,
diverting
I think
their
you're
attention.
trying to take down in the next 2 days.
Sybil, to continue with Festus's observation of what is taking place.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Everything's locked up, everything's turned off. Here.
Okay.
Thanks. Safe drive.
Festus continues to circle. Eventually, the orcs and those that went inside return outside, and there seems to be a very heated discussion that takes place where the one that was knocking on the door, which seems to be a younger Vigon, few years older than Raylog and Dothra, probably. Basically, like right up in the face of this individual that's being held.
It's looking really angry now.
Baker.
Yeah, like to the point where you can imagine like spit
Spittle.
just like
Yeah.
flying. And you can see that the individual being held is not necessarily like nervous, but he's definitely like continuing to hold a calm demeanor, and just like he's not going to be pushed around, and he's not going to be, you're not going to threaten me, basically. You can see him, the individual being held, say something, and then the younger Vigon just whacks someone in the gut, and you see the one that's being held fall down to his knees, and you can see just more just berating and him yelling at him in the direction, and then the one that's on his knees looks up, and then you just see him punch him in the face, and this goes on for several minutes of just conversation and just
Do we wait for
punching
several minutes?
in the face.
It's still daylight, like you say. It doesn't matter if it's nighttime or daylight.
This is probably past now to the point where your conversation and trying to reach out to Tylus, this is probably around the time that would current to bring you up to current.
Yeah, I can't reach him. It's getting violent.
What did she say?
She can't reach Tylus, and it seems like the situation is getting violent.
What are we gonna do? Big guy.
So, Dothra
Does it
only
make
knows-
sense to help out with that situation, or to just go and deal with my uncle, who's
I'm
kind
not
of the root
convinced
cause
that
of
they're
everything?
gonna kill him right here, right now. I think we might be able to wait till nightfall. If what's his face, Durig is any example of how they treat their, poorly behaved citizens, he's probably not gonna die immediately.
And they
Yeah.
might
Can't kill off the workforce.
Yeah,
Yeah, they might send
they're
them
not really
to-
gonna kill him off because
they probably send them to the
Need him.
mines.
I feel like we can probably wait till tonight. He might be incarcerated, and we might be able to get him tonight, but no guarantees. But brother, take out your uncle, no offense.
So you could use Festus to see where they can haul them off to.
Yeah, I can see what happens afterwards.
Okay, that's fine. I guess we'll wait till tonight, and then we'll go and confront my uncle.
Okay. Just to relay what Festus continues to watch and see. As I said, it goes on for several minutes of just him hammering on this guy, punching him, and Atten seems like having just an intense conversation before finally the one that's on his knees looks up and just spits like blood in his direction. And at that point,
he
like
made a mistake. He made a mistake.
at that point, the one that's been punching him just is so mad at that point that he can't even like think straight, I guess you could say, that he just has him hauled away, and the two Vigons holding him just start dragging him up through the village. And he's not like trying to walk or anything, like he's literally being dragged with his feet behind him. You see them bring this individual up to the High Chief home, and
It's good distance.
you see
I might be
them
wrong.
go
I might
inside.
be very wrong about having till night. I might be very wrong. I think you made him real mad.
Well, that rash spit really doesn't help.
That last bit there, that might have been the straw. That might have been the straw, guys.
Do you want the storyteller to
Soon
recount what he did?
after, you see all of the individuals. Everybody went in except for the orcs into the High Chief home.
Okay.
A few moments pass before you see the younger one that was doing the beating exit out of the home. The other two remain. Seems like a good 10-15 minutes go by, and then you see those two exit with the individual in tow dragging him, as they were before. Looks a little worse for wear. Definitely looks like he received even more of a beating while in there. but he is hauled down to the barracks essentially.
That's where I was thinking he'd go.
Okay, it's in the barracks.
And led inside, and
Probably won't. be,
hours
you
go
know?
by before you see any of the individuals that were part of that whole scene exit out of the building.
Into the makeshift dungeon until they want to transport him somewhere else.
By that time, is it now night?
That's
No,
It's like 3 in the
You
afternoon.
had your
Oh,
conversation
you said
with like
hours,
Jurek
so
and whatnot. You had that about like late morning, so
Okay.
this would be around midday ish. It's probably around 2 o'clock in the afternoon that you would get a message, Sybil, from Galandra saying that the scouting party is fine, and they are still in the general vicinity, and are willing to
Aid.
if that is what you guys wish to do, and if you guys have a plan. Right now they were just doing recon before trying to come up with a plan, or either that or just relay information.
But they
As long
had
as they could.
contact with the people inside.
right.
What do you mean?
They talked to
Possibly
townspeople.
we're thinking something about tonight.
It seems like they were they were being sheltered by a resident in the
So they had
village
contact. They had
somewhere.
contact.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, Sybil, I don't know. Maybe we can just do it in the daytime. Because, like Raylog says, it doesn't matter if it's dark or light.
I mean, if it doesn't matter to you guys,
I don't care.
can't get a message to them. So, Belendra, you've got about 45 seconds here for me to relay it to her, to them. Because I cannot picture this tireless guy. He is like a blank slate in my mind.
Though he draws a nice picture.
You know, I had an idea and it was just completely wrong. I think it's that he picture him young and he's supposed to be like super old.
So you drew Fabio, and that wasn't him.
Yeah, my bad.
Right. What do you say, Raylog? We can go through the little spot in the wall, and then go to your home.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do. Because I mean, as far as we know, he's still in the
That's
app. Like he has.
Yeah, Festus has not seen him leave.
So he's retired to the home and hasn't left. Unless he goes into the cellar and there's tunnels that we don't know.
So your plan is in the next like hour?
Yeah.
In the next yeah?
To advance and do the confrontation.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do.
And then tell the elf boys, get ready.
So if there's any preparation that we need to do or anything, like we can do that.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
berries around the place, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
there's
Okay.
berries.
So make sure I bless some berries and everything. Meditate to make up for the points. And then we'll be ready to go.
Okay, so you guys prepare for close to 30 minutes before heading out, since it's going to take 15 to 20 to travel to the edge of Heartmount. And preparations are done. You head towards Heartmount and make it to the edge of the village, and you guys are met with the scene that you can see here in the picture, various different houses, in trees and whatnot, and you can see a prominent statue in the middle of the village that stands close to like 30 feet high. You would estimate from looking at it. Looking down, you can also see barricades that are built around the base of the statue as well, like large logs, like pointing out, like very very basic looking, but nonetheless there.
Like a palisade.
Yeah. And you can see various different individuals walking the streets, some looking like just general townsfolk, at least what you would assume, or look close to what Jorik looked like in his dress, and then there's armored Vigons.
I didn't know he wore a dress.
Apparel.
It's a kilt.
It's not a dress, it's a kilt.
It's a man dress.
It's a tunic.
Well, and I guess for Vikings, I guess yes, it would be probably close to a kilt. Yeah.
Not the dresses.
How are you guys? Are you guys just walking up, or did you guys want to like disguise yourselves in any way?
I don't need to disguise myself. I usually ride in a backpack.
I'll disguise myself.
Are you gonna try to be quiet at all?
We still have those orc disguises, Kara, if we want to be orcs again.
I can take that too.
It's true. I didn't even think about that. You guys can't look like orcs though, but we
But
can.
keep in mind that is going to change your armor and everything if you're wearing that, and you get into a confrontation, you're gonna be wearing that.
Well, her DR would go up.
They had a cloak, right? Like a helmet.
They had a helmet, yes.
They have lots of things.
Helmet's a +2.
Alright, I think that's the most important part.
Just the helmet.
The one, the shield, like that looks like an orc shield.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna bypass the fact that we have a fancy eye-looking cloak and really nice-looking armor, or a dark, like shadish green armor that we're wearing.
I think we are.
Okay. Okay.
I'll try and
Walking
cover
around
the
with a
cloak
rapier.
the shield. I'll cover the cloak with the shield.
Oh, okay.
Tuck it in the back.
Do we want to disguise the Vigons at all so that they don't look like their general selves, seeing that they're walking into their home
Vigons
village?
are Vigons.
What could you disguise them as?
Because we didn't have any
Do
armor.
some kind of paint. You could put some kind of helmet or something on to change so you can't see their
I
face.
have paint. I have lots of paint.
You're gonna draw like a clown
It's
face.
watercolor. We better hope it doesn't rain.
Just don't
I
sweat.
can put on some like battle paint for you guys.
This giant orc is looking kind of spotty. He's
Yeah,
Does
kind of
anyone have the
You want
ability to
battle paint? I'm
disguise
so down
us?
for this idea.
Well, she
Does
has
anybody
this-
have that as a non-weapon ability to do disguise?
I know I have.
I think at least
I
the
do.
two of us need to be disguised because people
Mhm.
would recognize us.
I have disguise.
So you know how to alter people with your disguise. You have that talent.
You basically have like a disguise kit that your ways to
The fake
like
nose
make
and the
somebody
fuzzy hair.
look different.
Who wants the Einstein?
It's them. I always
Yeah,
thought
I
Ray
have
was
really
nice in
good
the
at
front.
carnivals.
I
I'm
have
so
a
good at
non-weapon
doing
ability for
tigers.
disguise.
Like it's
Mhm.
not even funny.
I do
Yeah.
that ability.
Okay.
I've
Go
never
ahead
used it on
and
anyone.
I'm sure there's a roll attributed to it.
Yeah, it's a wisdom, and I think it's a 5th.
15 or lower.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I think so.
But roll really low.
3.
That's very good.
That's one down.
It's
Gotta
per.
hit the other one. 1.
That's a notable one.
Yes, it is.
Noted.
All right.
Yes.
It is well noted.
As long as it's
All right, so the
long.
Vigons, you guys take some from different elements of like plants and whatnot around and put together some kind of war paint or some sort of plan together to make the Vigons look a little bit different than what they do.
I'll be in his backpack.
Okay,
That's your disguise.
so you guys reach
I
the
know that.
outskirts of Heartmount, having prepared, and you
I like
make
the
your
order.
way to the High Chief home. You do get some, or I guess, what are Kara and Sybil actually like wearing disguises or?
The work outfits.
I guess.
I'll put my like old cloak over top of my new cloak and try to like cover it up.
Oh wait, I have my cloak of
bulk.
Elventine.
That would help with
Hiding in shadow.
hiding, but that's it.
It doesn't change you like a chameleon.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't look orcish.
Yeah,
I know.
it
Unless
looks
you
very
store it.
non-orcish.
Yeah, 'cause it's,
I'll keep
it's
it
a
in
nice
my
looking
block of holding.
You're
But I
taking the
tried
cloak
it.
off,
Yes.
but you're gonna keep whatever leather armor you have on. Okay.
Can you put the cloak underneath stuff?
Okay.
Stuff it in through the
So again,
Patty.
I mean, you
put
could.
it in my shin guard.
Is everybody walking together, or is everybody?
Yeah, I would think.
Are we
as a group.
sneaking, or are we just casually walking up?
Casual. Keep it casual.
Yeah, it'd probably be pretty casual.
If we look
And I
like
don't
we
think
know
we
what we're
can
doing,
go as
no
our
one's gonna
group of
question.
5. We'd probably make it smaller if I split up the wagon.
Oh, we're splitting up the party now. Okay.
Whose idea was this?
I'm hiding in shadows.
You're sneaking.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in his backpack.
Oh, well, that's... Okay.
All the way to the bottom.
So you guys
Oh,
get
great.
partway into town, and someone, a armored Vigon, notices your guys' group walking and notices Kim with not being like orc looking, and then also Kara not being orc looking.
I thought they changed that before we left.
Where's Scrawny?
They did not say that they put on the orc disguises.
I mean, you did in the other
We put on,
time.
like the helmet and like hit a little bit of our personage, but like we can't. I'm not changing out of my armor. So
Yeah.
that's not gonna.
No,
that's
that's
not
So, and this individual approaches and says, "Never seen you here before. What's your business here in Heartmount?"
I speak to him in Orcish and then like shrug, like I can't understand him.
Mixed for you.
You don't look like an orc, but you certainly sound like one.
Like, yes.
And he kind of looks up at the two Vigons and like squints a little bit.
We weren't gonna be in one big group. I mean, if
They're separate.
if they're not gonna look at
We said it
us
was
as
going
four,
through it.
they're
We can eyeball, but not be that close.
Okay.
so we might have the Vigons go and say, look,
I think it'd be best if you two came with me then. We need to sort this out.
He's speaking in common.
Orc.
Yeah, you have an orc.
Orcs.
I can't understand.
Let's go. Give me 1 second. How close are we to where we're trying to be?
You are like a house and a half away. Like you are like halfway past a house, and you have like one more to go.
You can put him to sleep.
That's what I was planning on doing. Alright, I'm just gonna like work noises, blah blah blah, just kind of shrug and then kind of do the wavy shrug and try to put him to sleep.
Okay.
So you have a -6.
It's not from your level and your whatever, is that right?
No, it's whatever your
Oh, we have the power level on that.
yes, the power level plus
So
your
it's
attribute
-5.
bonus.
It's -5.
Plus -5.
-5 to what kind of?
Wisdom.
Okay.
We needed a 10. 10.
He's level 10.5, and he failed. He goes to sleep.
Yep. He goes to sleep then. Yep.
I just shrug and keep talking for
Okay.
keep going.
All right. So you guys continue on and end up across the. There's like a not a full courtyard, but there's just like there's definitely a given leeway between the rest of the houses, like a area of just left without any tree, yeah, like a buffer zone. You guys get to the edge of the buffer zone there, right before getting to the house, and the other group, you guys see them have a slight discussion with a Vigon individual before he just collapses onto the ground and just stays in that position.
Little teddy bear.
And they continue walking. But you all then find yourselves outside of the High Chief home.
What day is it now?
Close to 3.
Yeah, it's
It's so safe.
late afternoonish.
You know the floor plan of this house you live in. You and Don know.
Assuming it's the same.
There's 2 floors.
Well, they don't know that.
Yeah, you guys can see it. It's 2 floors, but for the rest of the homes, there are only like one floor.
So you would know where the main bedroom is, the study room, and whatever is in there, where he would most likely be gravitating to be in. So there's probably a servant's entrance, possibly you could go through without going to the main area, or and then go up where you think you need to go. So you guys know the floor plan. So you could see if he knows what to tell you about the floor plan, but you would know a certain way to do it, so you're not so conspicuous.
I mean, you guys are in the middle of the village now, so I mean, there's nothing really you can do.
Well, yeah, because the entrance side he wants to go on is what I'm getting at.
I'm gonna have Festus come and sit on the roof.
Okay.
There's multiple entrances.
There is the main entrance, and there is a back entrance as well.
There's only 2 entrances. Is that like a root cellar, or is it just a back door?
Just a back door.
Okay, I don't know how they have it.
So we would have headed over to the back entrance.
Okay. That's around back, on the like back by the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys make your way around there.
I mean, if you guys want to go in there, we can just make sure he doesn't run away.
Okay. If you we'll go one way, you go the other way. That's fine. We can do that.
Doesn't seem to be the wrong way type, but I see what you're saying.
So, you, Dr. Torvine, cover me in the bed?
Yes.
Alright, let's do it.
Okay. So some in the front, some in the back is what I'm hearing.
Did you want to tell Galandra, what's going on right now, so that way the elves can start?
I told her in 1 hour's time we were making our move.
Yeah, it's already time.
Okay.
So,
All right. Okay.
I think I only have 1 more charge left.
So you already kind of timed it with her, so she's already aware of what's
Okay.
happening, right?
All right. Yeah, and you need to save at least 1 charge for emergencies.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
You guys are outside the doors.
Check to see if it's on. Or do
Is it trapped?
do we hear anything like immediately on the other side of the wall?
Which where are you on the front or the back?
In the back.
You
Is
do not.
everyone
No,
in
you
the
do
back?
not. No, I heard front and back. There's people in front and back.
Oh,
That's what I heard. Unless I
I thought we
misunderstood.
all went out back.
Are we all in the back?
So,
Oh, I thought,
Oh, were you going to the back? Is that what you're thinking?
well, I figured you guys would want to go in the front because it's like your house.
you're
and
the
want to go in
audience.
the front.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just making sure he didn't run out the back, but I mean, if we all want to be in the back, that's fine.
No, we'll go in the front then. So you go in the back, and then we'll go in the front. It'll probably make a little more sense for us to go in the front since we're Vikings and disguise and everything.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll do that.
Since you're in the front, you can hear some muffled voices on the other side on the inside.
Does it sound familiar to him?
Sound Vigonian. One sounds kind of like their uncle.
There you go. That's what I want to hear.
So I guess so immediately on the other side of the door, what am I going to expect? Like in terms of layout and everything?
There's a hallway / like, I don't want to say foyer. Would it be a foyer? Kind of like a foyer, yeah. And then there's a set of stairs at the end of the foyer that go up, to the second level, and then there's like a balcony on that level, and then there's the bedrooms on each side. And then on the sides of the building on each side, there's like a kitchen on one, there's a dining room on one, there's living room on another, in another room. So there's various different rooms. The kitchen is kind of in the back, which is what the back door is connected to. At least that's how it was laid out whenever you guys.
Right, assuming it's not.
But it doesn't sound like the voices are like right there smack dab on the other side of the door. It seems like they're some ways into the
Down the hallway. There could be a dining section, but it's just reverberating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bedrooms are upstairs?
Yes, bedrooms are
Does it
upstairs.
sound like it's upstairs and over here?
It's hard to tell.
Okay. So I guess we will head in, see if it's unlocked.
Okay.
Just make sure we can actually go.
While he's doing that,
Are you guys doing anything like to communicate with each other, saying, "Okay, we're going in now"?
No. They're not going to hear us. They're on the other side
So
of
the
the
people
building.
in the back are just waiting until they hear
No, they went
clashing.
They went in the back to enter, and we're entering. Everyone's entering from their own end.
I mean, we're trying to do it roughly
So-
the same time,
simultaneously.
probably not perfectly
Right.
the same time.
Before we split up, we can just be like, get to your door, count to 10, and then go.
Okay. All right. So you guys enter in. Those of you entering in the back, you enter into the door. There's a short hallway, and then you end up in the kitchen. And there is a Vigon individual there that has clothing reminiscing of a cook. Being there in the kitchen, seems to be chopping stuff. Kind of turns around and sees you guys enter. Like, hey, what are you doing in here?
Nap time!
Yeah, sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
Put Mr. Cleaver out. So it's 5 off your wisdom, and she's rolling the light die.
Using all the power points right off the bat.
Just 2. Well, it's 1 for sleep.
Unless she's upping the ante.
She can't. She's not powerful.
Well, that's natural 11 with a -5. That's a failure.
And I'm sure she has a half life that added up to make
Yeah, so it is level 7.5.
Yeah, he's. I'm pretty sure that. What would that be? 7 would
Alright,
be.
buddy. Alright, I use 6.
Yeah, close. Yeah, I'll say
6.5 levels, pretty much.
Yeah. Yep, he kind of just falls over backwards.
I love you, Cleaver.
So he doesn't make a big sound.
Yeah.
Sure, you're able to do that. You're strong enough. But you guys exit out or come through the kitchen. Then after that, and it opens up into the foyer area, and you see your Vigon friends on the other side. You guys open the door, and you come through, and you see a circle of individuals around the table, with your uncle facing where you guys are coming in, and has his back turned to the kitchen area. You guys kind of walk in. What is your demeanor as you're coming in? Are you just barging right in, just like ah? Or
And he
No, it's-
shades in.
It's kind of like the same demeanor that kind of everybody just walks through the town, trying to
Being
mimic
casual.
that
Okay.
the best that we can.
so you guys come in.
Not to draw.
Everybody just kind of looks in your direction, like hearing you enter in, and your uncle looks up and, "What is it?"
We'll close the door.
Behind.
But that would have been done like as we're.
Correct.
Yeah, your sister probably would have closed the door as you
Yeah.
guys came in.
But lock.
Oh, like that's gonna help.
Hey, I know I have a lot of references to Kenny Rogers.
We're gonna lock it on the side that everybody's on. It's not on the other side.
Still, well, correct.
That's
so that
a
way,
free action.
people
Lock,
coming in.
bonus action open. Let's get out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the people coming in.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Sorry.
We're gonna lock. Yeah, I was gonna say. So our reinforcements can't get in,
I can't help it.
but neither can theirs.
That's right. So. At least we're
Okay.
limiting something.
Um.
Okay.
So your uncle says, "What is it?" And you guys can hear he has a very like raspy voice, almost like a smoker.
Smoker, yeah.
But then it's very very deep at the same time.
Deep breath.
So do you want me to answer, or do you want
That's up
That's
to
up to
you.
you.
to pause there?
No, you can still parlay. You have time to parlay.
Yeah, we got like another 10 minutes
Down
until
and dirty.
until it's 6. And then we can call it.
Okay,
If we get into the actual square off, then I'll just call it.
I see.
Right now, there's just parlay.
You know, big like Marvel Civil War. Like this. Pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assume your stance.
Yeah.
I'd like
Unpause
to
when we
become
do
a
that.
dragon.
Okay.
What's his name?
It's
Kudo.
Yeah.
Kudo. Kudo.
Is Uncle Kudo?
Speak up!
so.
He's talking.
I guess so. So what is the disguise that I have? Like, is it something I can easily?
You
just
guys
take
have
off?
like war paint on. You guys probably put like a different helmet on or something like that, or put something over to
So that's facial.
change the fate. The way
So
that
right
your
now
face
he
looks.
still wouldn't. He was
Yeah,
familiar.
he
but I
just
don't
thinks
know.
that you're somebody coming in to do a report or something, or
Bring in the
came in
wood
and
boy.
needed to
You're not revealing
tell him
that.
something or tell these people in here something. He doesn't immediately recognize the two of you.
I see. But it's not something I could easily just take off.
No, not paint. No.
Now
But your helmet and whatever
on.
to change up.
I mean, you could take the helmet off if you wanted to and just be like, "Hello, Uncle."
You recognize
Right.
this bald head?
Right.
Looks like every other bald head.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
You can turn around and exit for all I care.
That's why we try to lock the door. Take
You
Been like,
know what? I changed my mind. We'll be back at nightfall.
Please
Please
"You know
stay
what?
here."
I think I forgot something.
What's that, Kim?
He tries to leave once everyone's actively walking it. He's like,
Yeah.
what?
You know, I forgot my will. I forgot.
Be a lampshade.
I'm so sorry. Let me go get that. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I forgot my quill then.
Like Irving.
Getting cold feet.
Yeah. Okay.
So Raylog will say, Uncle, this is Raylog and Dothra. We have come to end this conflict that you have started.
Be home.
So, you see him kind of walk around from where he was standing at the table. You mean to tell me that you are my nephew and niece who were dumb enough to walk in back to their home? Why?
Well, apparently he's dumber.
Why?
Because
It seems like he's still in denial that you are who
Who
you
you
say
are,
you
yeah.
are.
But you don't care.
Because he started out by saying, "You mean to tell me that you're..."
Mhm. So can you say what he said again?
So you mean to tell me
It's not how it's done.
that you're my nephew and niece? Come back home. And for what? You're foolish enough to come right into the middle of town. Why?
Because you are the root of all this conflict, and it needs to stop. We need to end it here and bring back the peace that our family had been a part of and created. This conflict is going all the way out to the living forest.
Living tree forest.
Living tree forest, and that should not happen. I don't fully understand everything that's going on, but orcs should not be in the town. We should not be out warring with everybody. And we should not take advantage of those in the village and be treating them as just pawns in your overall scheme. And
One of the individuals standing at the table, now behind your uncle, kind of steps out and starts to make his way forward towards you. Look, I don't know who you are or what you're trying to prove, but I suggest you, and then your uncle kind of puts an arm out. You're really them. You really are. And he starts just slowly walking in your direction towards you and your sister. And you guys in the kitchen can hear the beneath his
don't put his
footfalls.
hands on your neck. It's all good.
And you can see as he approaches Raylog and Dothra that he's like a whole head taller than what Raylog is.
Thanos.
Oh man, that's huge.
And you can see that he kind of comes up and he just comes like right up to you and like looks you in the eye.
He doesn't look like he's about to do anything.
No,
Okay.
he just came up. He didn't seem
So
aggressive
he's
or
holding
anything.
the action.
Other than the fact that he just nonchalantly is walking up to you, seemingly without a care in the world. I'll be. The little whelp has returned home. And he turns around and makes his way back to the table. I never would have thought I would see the day. I would have thought that you two would have just went and died in a ditch. You probably would have been better off, honestly. So tell me, did you just come up here thinking that you would just end the conflict between the forest and the mountains? Maybe return things back to a peace the way it was when your father was running things? Is that what you hoped to gain from this? Foolish boy. You don't understand what our people used to be. We used to be strong, we used to be feared. Heartmount used to be the prominent village of the Great Mountains. And now, what are we? Sure, we're the capital, I guess you could say. A village that holds the High Chief. But what has become of the rest of the mountains and ourselves? What, we took up raising livestock, hunting, baking. No. We used to be strong. Now we're weak. Your father was weak. I'm simply making us strong again.
Strength isn't just from physical might. Strength comes in knowing how to use our physical might and when to use it. You are not using it correctly.
Is that so?
I mean, what are you hoping
Would
to
you
gain?
care to put your beliefs on the line for that? Not saying that I doubt what you believe because you were foolish enough to come all the way back here. But I will make sure that it's something you're willing to put your life on the line for. Because I'm giving you this one chance to walk away.
Did you crawl out and do that?
You can see the rest of the Vigons are just kind of like standing there, just like, what in the world is going on? And there's some of them that are seeming to be in denial that the two of you are who you say you are, and then the fact that their leader is acting the way that he is. But he gives that invitation to you. Or, I mean, you could always join me too. Obviously, you want to be in charge, but maybe you're wiser than your father was.
I am willing to die for this cause of staying free and having peace. Joining you or just walking away is not something that would sit right with me. It's not what our ancestors did. I mean, they fought to have the peace, and they didn't fight just to fight and be mighty.
A pity. I would have loved to have some family here with me to rule once again. But alas, it seems like I am the only one who has sense. So, how do you wish to do this? By the old traditions? Or by the new traditions? You would recall the old traditions was a variety. It was either a challenge for one-on-one combat, or you could choose to have a group with you, and the other could choose to have a group with them as well, or they didn't have to have one. They could face you by themselves. Or the new tradition is that they go by the general populace, and there's a consensus taken, and whoever the majority is of who the population chooses is the one that now is in charge. But then anything that they say goes. So they could order them, like, killed on the spot, and nobody's going to ask any questions. But it's the fact that the populace has a vote in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say that we came here and challenged you, so why don't you choose?
I don't think so. See, I've already got everything. You're the one coming up here. I gave you the invitation to walk away. If you wish to challenge me, boy, then challenge me. Otherwise, we'll just take care of this down as we've always done. No, I don't want to ruin the inside of the house. So not here. We have the choice, boy. We can either do this by tradition or not.
How new is
It was established like relatively soon after the peace started. It was not.
so many generations?
So it's old.
Yeah, it's older, but they consider it the new traditions.
Okay. Then we will do it the new way. New tradition, where everyone has a say. Only by
Only bygones can vote, huh?
They're the only ones who were original members of this.
Okay. If that is what you wish. But understand, if you lose, there's no coming back from this.
I understand.
Okay?
Can I teleport somewhere?
Yeah, like, you guys would literally have, like, no say.
Exactly.
It would literally be, like, you guys against the town. Versus, oh, we can have just a one-on-one or a group versus a group battle. Instead, it's like, okay, now it's the whole entire town against you. So
There you go. Well, I'm assuming he's banking on there's still good people that don't want to be oppressed by this new regime, and that's what he's banking on. But they also, a lot
I
of people
will remind you that Durik said that like 1/3 of the populace was probably loyal to your father.
Yeah, I didn't hear any numbers.
Yeah.
I'm really not liking where this might go.
Yeah, and then the idea that even you coming back would spark the followers, but not the people who didn't care about following to start with. So the numbers really aren't on your side.
They're not in your favor.
No.
Do we have
I
time?
mean, I understand, but like, I don't know, it just seems weird doing it the old way. Because like, that almost seems hypocritical.
But why not challenge him on his own beliefs, which he's so prone to wanting to go back to the old ways? Why not beat him on his own?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like,
You want to rewind?
yeah, we can rewind.
I will allow that,
Okay.
because this is a crucial decision right here.
Compared to the
Oh, I think I
obvious.
did, but like,
Then you're for certain doom on purpose if you understood the.
At least if you choose to fight either him or a group, there's a chance of you beating them. Versus, okay, well, the vote didn't go our way. We can try to fight our way out, but it is the entire village against us, whether they like us or not. Like, if they choose to not to fight us, then they are also being condemned. That's only if your uncle decides that after the vote.
You're still at his mercy.
But yeah, but
And you
at
know
the same
that-
time, he gave you the chance to walk away already. So more than likely,
That's removed from the table.
he gave you the one chance to
To
walk
leave would
away.
be in the pine box.
yeah, so I guess I could say, like, I would challenge you with the way that you so heartily believe in the order.
Because there's two types. One is Omano, and the other
Well,
one is
just the old traditions will be fine. That'll be sorted out later.
Yeah.
Right, there's two types.
Because as far as he is aware, it's just the two of them.
Yeah.
As far as he knows at this point.
He doesn't know you have cooks on your side.
So when it's a group, is the group numbers, is that have to be the same?
It can be, or it can be less. The challenger basically is the one deciding how many there is in the group, and then the defender is like, okay, I can choose to have that many, or I can choose to not have that many. I can choose to go it alone if I want.
Birds don't count, do
You don't know.
they? I'm just saying it comes with the person, so I mean she has a
They're not
bear.
on the ground, then they don't count as being on the playing field.
You don't know. I didn't even think of that. There was a stinking bear with you and so I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that.
I didn't say
Oh,
it,
man.
let it fly.
Throwing them down to
Anyway,
the wild
all right.
life up here.
So you say that, I challenge you by the old traditions since you seem to hold them. I challenge you on your own beliefs. I will challenge you by the old traditions. So be it. And he looks at it and looks kind of back at the others at the table, or at the table. Assemble the ring. And he begins to head towards you guys, but seems to be wanting to exit out the door.
Is that going to be the circle in the square?
Mostly.
Okay.
And you guys exit the building and are led down to the square by the statue.
Okay.
And as you guys are walking, more people are seeing you walking, and people are opening their doors and looking out the windows, and there's quite the crowd that seems to gather around the outskirts of the circular square in the middle of town.
Out of curiosity, did everyone leave the room and follow this?
Yes, the Vigons that were
Because
in
you
there.
guys can come up behind me.
I'm pulling up all
Minus the cook.
Minus the cook, he's still asleep.
Yeah. So what are you going to do, Sil?
Well, how long does sleep last?
30 minutes or more.
Sleep
It's added at the end.
plus 1 minute plus 1 minute per level, so less for 5 minutes.
What? I must have nerfed that.
Wakey, so.
That's too bad. Well, Sybil,
Well,
you
it has
have
been 5 minutes for the conversation, so you guys would be on your way to the square.
Yeah.
Someone's in the house!
Where'd they all go?
Where'd they go? Where'd everybody go? Alright, that is where we will pick up as you guys figuring out the particulars for your face off with Raylog's uncle.
Yeah, you're right.